come into this spot on a Thursday before 10 o'clock. But I thought, what the hell, why not? I don't know about you, but I never walk up and talk to a stranger. But when I saw you, I just had to. Girl, I know your favorite beer, 'cause you told me and I bought it. You can leave me sitting right here, but if you feel like talking, what's your name, what's your sign, what's your birthday, what's your wrist tattoo, Bible verse say? Tell me this, do you kiss on the first date? Don't hold anything back. What's your dream job, girl? Where's your hometown? Yeah, what makes your world spin around and around? And are you down to get out of here too? Tell me everything till there's nothing I don't know about you. I don't know about you. We can dip, we can slip out the bank. Leave the same, put your feet on my dash. Find a spot past the railroad tracks and never look back. But before that, what's your name, what's your sign, what's your birthday, what's your wrist tattoo, Bible verse say? Tell me this, do you kiss on the first date? Don't hold anything back. What's your dream job, girl? Where's your hometown? Yeah, what makes your world spin around and around? And are you down to get out of here too? Tell me everything till there's nothing I don't know about you. I know you like Bud Light, I know you got blue eyes, I know you got my heart beating in this bar. Tonight we can jump in, fall into something, and the perfect place to start. What's your name, what's your sign, what's your birthday, what's your wrist tattoo, Bible verse say? Tell me this, do you kiss on the first date? Don't hold anything back. What's your dream job, girl? Where's your hometown? Yeah, what makes
DP Columbus, your home for the SportsVisions morning show. SportsVisions 92.1. You're listening to the SportsVisions morning show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Wednesday morning and welcome everybody to another edition of the SportsVisions morning show. I am Walter and Betty Jones's baby boy, Daryl DJ Jones, Coach Bush's grandson, the thrifter, Thrift Barringer. Good morning. How are you, man?
Great morning, DJ. Happy hump day.
Happy hump day to you, boy. I tell you what, we're right back slap dab in the middle of the week already, man. And again,
Unreal.
3 days behind us and 2 more days in front of us, and then it will be the weekend, baby, once again.
Yeah, I cannot wait. And it's been a incredible start to the week already and ready to rock and roll on this hump day.
Absolutely. Got a few things a few assignments today in particularly. We're going to have an opportunity to, you and I are going to sit down. We do this every year or two or so. And, looking forward to sitting down with you. You come at me with some really, really interesting questions as we have built this SportsVisions platform and some of the other things that we've been able to do in the community. Since that time, you have really come on the scene in a big way with Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. So I'm looking at, us doing somewhat of instead of you interviewing me, we got to be interviewing each other. And this is something that you could only get on the SportsVisions morning show as far as the information. And then, of course, we will drop it on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live as well as, of course, the SportsVisions YouTube and Facebook page.
Yeah, you'll be able to get all that information. It'll be dropping later on tonight. So excited about that, DJ.
Where we're going to sit down? We're going to go down to Synovus Park?
That is the plan right now, as long as they'll let us come in there and hopefully with no games that we'll be able to walk in and get a little interview going at that, which was historic, but now great Synovus Park.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to doing that. And again, dropping a little bit later on this afternoon, correct?
Yes, that is correct, DJ.
All right. I want to say hello to everybody out there in Facebook land. We appreciate you for, of course, joining us once again. We never take it for granted that you are here for us and we are here for you. And of course, we're here to inform, educate, and entertain you on the goings on in the world of sports. And of course, we want to make sure that you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that the Sports Visions morning show is on the air right now. I tell you what, after the past couple of days, we've had some blockbuster interviews with, interest from the community. We had a couple of leadership changes and decisions that were made. And man, I tell you what, it's been spectacular. Not that we haven't already, for the last 6 months. Actually, can you believe we've been on the air for 6 months?
I cannot believe that.
But this morning show has been on for 6 months, man, and at the time it's flown. But the fact of the matter, the last couple of days, a couple of very, very interesting community moves have been made with regards to George Washington Carver Tigers former football coach, Pierre Coffey, who was with us yesterday. He was on, and of course, he's going on to take a position as a principal in down at Stewart County High School. And then another bombshell came when the principal, longtime 20-year principal of George Washington Carver Tigers, of course, Chris Lindsay, accepted the principal job for the Central Red Devils over at Phoenix City in their high school. So those last 2 days, and again, we've had other interviews, and as we always do, and we of course include today. But those were off the chain, and man, I've been everywhere I've been going. I mean, obviously from downtown. I was downtown yesterday afternoon. I've been everywhere I've gone. People, and of course between the emails, between the text messages, really appreciating the insight on the interviews that we've been doing, Thrift. So again, that's another feather in your cap. Pat on the back for being such a great interviewer.
Yeah, thank you, DJ. We both did a good job being able to talk to both those guys, let them tell their story, and they're excited about their new endeavor, and we're going to be still cheering on for them as they go into Stewart County and Central.
Absolutely. And again, let me do this for all of our folks out there in WLTC HD2 land, Sports Visions at 92.1. We love you, but it ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
Hello, somebody.
Now it's time to get this party started. Now, of course, our guest for today. We got exciting guests today as well. Of course, Mike Peacock. He's a familiar name to a lot of the Columbus State Cougars. He's actually was the sports information director, and again, back during that time, it went from sports information director to director of sports communications, and it's been a lot of different things. Now they have some sophisticated corporate name for it, but Mike Peacock, who is also a big part of the Georgia-Alabama Sports Live family, and of course, he is excited that he was able to rejuvenate his sports career. He's going to be with us after spending time in a couple of schools. He was at St. Luke teaching as well as at Calvary. And Mike Peacock is a very, very integral part of our sports community, very, very integral part of Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. Thrift. Looking forward to chopping it up with Mike. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I enjoy Mike too. He does a weekly show on Georgia-Alabama Sports Live called Step Up, Make a Difference with Marty Durden. Both those guys, men of faith that have done an excellent job at coaches, sports administrators, and they just have a great voice. And they interviewed guys that we've even had on the show, including Kelvin Red, and talking about leadership. So it's all faith-based. You're not going to be hearing X's and O's, stats, standings. All you're going to be hearing is about faith and how you can correlate that to being successful in your coaching or athletic career.
Also, we have Cedric Lamar. You're familiar with that name. Most said has, of course, he's quite a unique job here. He's on the PGA Tour. He has actually, been all over the world, on the PGA Tour, working with the professional golfers as a caddy. And, he is an interesting individual. He is a Morehouse guy. And again, out of Atlanta, Georgia. I met him on the golf course years ago in Atlanta. And he was a golf pro at a particular course that I can't remember the course that I was going to at that time, but I was playing a lot of golf back then. And, I met Sid. He was just an outstanding individual and super nice golf pros, as most of the golf pros of these courses are. If I don't know if you had an opportunity to experience that, but it's great that we have a guy like him, a correspondent that works behind the scene, works very closely with these professional golfers on the PGA Tour. In fact, we've formed such a bond that, we're going to do some things on the speaking tour, on the Sports Visions summer speaking tour. He's going to be coming in town in a few weeks, and we're going to go and have set up a few assignments in the community where he's going to talk to some of the young kids about the opportunities to and what it's like to be a professional caddy. And I know that, we got some kids that are very interested in golf, but this caddy thing, man, I'm sure it's a lot of kids as well as adults that didn't realize that can be a very, very great career as far as them working and having an opportunity to be in and around sports.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're going to have him on also to talk about what's happening on the PGA Tour right now as well. This guy is just always an excellent interview, and looking forward to talking to him.
U.S. Open, we were fresh off of that. And again, he will be in Wichita for the Wichita Open, the Wichita, Kansas. He'll be up there. And I know there's a couple of different events always going on. But, yeah, I know that we had talked to Cedric in previous interviews about his travels around the world. But again, I just want to revisit that because it's been quite some time. It's been several months since we talked about, him touring and traveling to Europe and Africa with his pros, and just, again, how, those guys, their lifestyle. Because, again, that's something that people just don't ordinarily talk about. We talk about basketball, baseball, we talk about football, and we talk about even soccer. But those golfers, man, that's almost another level, and it's so tough to play. I guess that's another thing. You have to have a certain mindset. You have to have a certain skill set. I can tell you that by being. I was on the range the other day hitting some few golf balls, man. And again, golf has to be the hardest thing that I've ever done. You're dunking a basketball or throwing a football, or for that matter, shooting a free throw thrift is one thing, but hitting a golf ball, that ball that doesn't even move, it's a stationary ball on the ground, but all the mechanics that it takes to hit a golf ball, man, I tell you, that's a special skill set within itself.
It definitely is, and it's something that I've never played a full round of golf. I do, again, putt-putt's not the same thing, but I do enjoy that, and I've always wanted to, but one thing, I've never had left-handed clubs and just the time to go out there, but I definitely want to make an effort to eventually want to start playing golf, get that competitive itch doing something other than maybe playing pickup basketball.
Absolutely. And speaking of golf, I understand Mike Peacock is not a bad golfer. And I understand that we're interested in chopping it up with him to talk in addition to all the great things that are happening here with him, but to talk about his golf game, because obviously I'm trying to get myself back in order. Got a few calls, got a few emails of guys talking about, and I've had to, say no, because again, I just, that's something. And as a competitor, if you want to be at least decent, you don't want to go out and stink up the place. So I want to give myself some time to get, again, I'm not going to be really good, but I don't want to be rusty. I don't want to go out there and embarrass myself.
Yeah, and I would be the same way. And I'm glad you're getting some practice in. I can't wait to see that full round. And you tell me you're 5 or 6 under par, DJ.
Oh, no, none of that. I just want to shoot the temperature, buddy.
There we go.
If I can shoot the temperature on a good 90+ degree day, that's doing it good. Do you know what the average golf score of all the pros and all the amateurs and all the novice golfers? Do you know what the average golf score is?
85, 90 around there.
Yeah, you're right. You know enough to be dangerous. You just don't play, huh?
No, just don't play. I keep up with it, but definitely don't play.
Absolutely. And also, again, last but not least, the legend, the Hall of Famer herself, Carolyn Wright. Coach Carolyn Wright, you know her for over 30 years. She coached girls basketball at Central High School with the Red Devils. She and her husband, Bobby Wright, Coach Bobby Wright, they have they're an iconic tandem. They're the only two husband and wife team tandem in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. And again, we'll have her on to talk about enjoying retirement. Her and both, Coach are both retired now. And again, Carolyn Wright, boy, what a history she's had in, of course, local athletics, more in particularly with the Central Red Devils, and of course, over 600 victories as a girls basketball coach.
That's for one. It's 600. That is a ton of victories, and it's doing and being successful for a long time as well. So I can't wait to have on Carolyn here in just a little bit.
The thing with Miss Carolyn Wright is the fact that not only will we be celebrating her and continuing to give her flowers even as she's retired, but picking her brain through it, because there's a lot of young coaches that are still out there, and to put 32 years in the game, obviously she has some wisdom and some nuggets to drop. So it's up to us. For us to pull that out of her on behalf of the SportsVisions Nation and all of the young coaches that will be listening.
Yeah, it is, man. And I this is why we have someone like her on, to be able to drop knowledge for maybe even some upcoming girls that want to get into coaching, girls or boys, and what it takes to be successful at that level.
So we're looking forward to talking to Mike Peacock here at 6:30, and of course in that just a little bit. And of course Cedric Lamar at 7:30, and then of course to follow Cedric at 8 o'clock, we'll have Carolyn Wright, Coach Carolyn Wright on. And again, she is a member of the Alabama High Schools Association Hall of Fame, as well as the Columbus the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. And again, we are just very happy to have her on. And again, that's the thing that I also want to reiterate that if you've done something in this community athletic wise and you have been iconic, if you have left a mark, I will definitely, if we know that you're out there, we're going to talk to you. We want to bring you on. We want in Sports Visions Nation, those of them who don't know you, we want them to get to know you, and we want to keep your legacy alive. And again, because that's all we have to leave here after we're gone on. And again, your contributions are much appreciated. And Thrift, I know you as well as I respect the shoulders of the folks whose shoulders we stand on.
Exactly right. And that's why we continue to want their support and thank them for what they do for this program.
Absolutely. Of course, the Clingstones were on the road in Birmingham. Of course, didn't get off to a good start of the series, but again, got 5 more up in Birmingham. Lost up there 4-1 to the Barons. But again, the great thing about them being in Birmingham is that, not only do they play tonight, but they'll play 5 more games, and of course, to right that ship.
But the thing is, too, this first half's probably over with, but second half, they restart the standings. So they have a first half winner and a second half winner. So even though they have to basically succeed saying, hey, we're not going to be able to win this probably first half, it's okay, because then they get to restart. So finishing out on a good note to build momentum for that second half is crucial. So let's get some wins. But I'm not stressed as much because, again, you got a whole nother half with a standing start over, and you still have a chance to win a championship.
Absolutely. And I think this is the first time that we'll have an opportunity outside of you broadcasting the GIAA baseball state championship. So going over to the stadium for me, while the Clingstones are on the road during in season, and again, when we're going to go over and do our sit down, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Of course, hopefully we'll have an opportunity to see Mr. Seaver over there as well, who is the director of grounds. And, again, he's been on the show several times now. And again, just looking forward to taking it over to Synovus Park shortly after we eat breakfast after the show.
Yeah, I can't wait to either, DJ, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and you can see it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live and Sports Visions.
I understand that you're going to start your series of sitting down with the athletic directors, the state of the athletic directors, and again, you got your first one today.
Yeah, so we got Calvin Thomas, and then coming up later this week as well, we'll have Tim Fanning, and next week we got Smith Station, we got Northside, and we got Calvary. So we're going to be rocking and rolling here these next couple of weeks, and we're going to be going all the way through the end of July, and we have 16 schools high school wise, and then we are also going to be doing CSU and CVCC. So we're going to have 18 different of these of our series. So looking forward to starting that later on tonight. You'll see it with Calvin Thomas and those Pacelli Vikings, state champions in boys and girls basketball, boys and girls soccer. They made the playoffs in football and baseball. They won the volleyball state championship, wrestling, esports. Just an incredible year athletically for those Pacelli Vikings.
Speaking of athletic directors, I had an opportunity yesterday to talk to Andre Dye, who's the athletic director over at Kendrick, and believe it or not, he was in the middle of a practice. I don't know if he was actually helping the basketball teams, whether girls or boys, but he was. I was just joking when I called him. I heard some noise in the background. I said, "Coach, what you doing? You doing line drills?" He said, yeah, absolutely. So, again, is looking forward to talking to him as well. I'm looking forward to you interviewing him a little bit later as well. But also, while we're talking about athletic directors, and not that he is actually on your schedule, but, the fact that, again, when you talk about what a wonderful opportunity it is, again, Coach Butler from Carver High School getting an opportunity to be a head coach and athletic director down at Stewart County. As we interviewed yesterday, Pierre Coffey, the principal, he was able to bring along and reach back and pull along Patrick Butler. Again, the former Auburn player, the former Carver Tiger player. And, of course, he was the most recent strength and conditioning coach at George Washington Carver for the state championship team. So it's great to see Patrick Butler get an opportunity to have his own program.
And I'm glad that he is getting an opportunity, and I'm going to be cheering for him. He'll be the head football coach and AD at Stewart County, and it's going to be a rebuilding process, but this guy is hungry, ready, and I think he's got a pretty good staff already in place too. Coach Coffey's going to have a hands-on approach with it, and should be a lot of fun seeing how it plays out.
Talking about strength and conditioning coaches or trainers or whatever, not only is Patrick Butler, one of the best that I've seen around here, in conjunction with your brother. Again, give us an update as far as what competition is coming up. And, for that matter, we got to keep putting it out there that, Truck is it Truck or
Yeah, Trotter?
Truck and Trotter and Thrift. Boy,
Yeah.
I tell you, but that's a heck of a combination. You guys ever thought about, singing, or did y'all singing as a little group growing up?
Mom and my grandmother and really a lot of people couldn't get our names right because you've got all T's. We got called each other's names our entire lives. But they did just have their kids strongman competition. My nephew Bryson was able to win it, and for his age group, my other nephew Banks did a really good job. But right now, he's just training as he's got some big ones coming up here later on in the summer, including the Georgia Strongman right here. It'll be at Scofflaw coming up in the next couple of weeks, and that's a brewing company here in Columbus, Georgia. So I'll have more information as I get that for you, DJ. So it should be a lot of fun seeing how that's going to go out.
And speaking of the request of best of, Trotter's is right up there. Trotter, Trucker, and Thrift. Trotter's interview that we did with him several months back. That's a very, very called upon interview, and we'll get that on there sooner than later.
No doubt.
Perhaps when we're on the road here in the next week or so.
Yeah, I think that is a great point, DJ. So you'll be on the lookout for which we have a library full of great interviews we've done just in the last couple of months alone.
All right, let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning, I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. A former Uber driver from Opelika will spend 75 years behind bars after being convicted in a high-profile sexual assault trial. A Lee County jury found 46-year-old Theodore Halls Jr. guilty of attacking two passengers in separate incidents. His sentences will be served consecutively. Columbus police are asking for your help identifying two suspects connected to a stunt driving incident at St. Mary's Shopping Center. One man, 21-year-old Antoine Wyatt, was arrested, but two others fled the scene. Anyone with information about the incident is urged to call CPD at 706-225-3400. You can also remain anonymous. Senator John Ossoff is pushing to replace the aging Dexter Elementary School at Fort Benning. During a Senate hearing, he secured a key commitment from Army leadership to expedite construction for military families. Ossoff also previously secured $500,000 for planning and design as part of the National Defense Authorization Act. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Wednesday morning. I hope you have the umbrella today. We've got a chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon and early evening. Highs today reaching the low 90s. Tonight we'll drop down into the low 70s. And for your Thursday, watch out for showers and storms during the afternoon and evening, and still staying hot with highs in the low 90s. Don't forget you can stay up to date with your latest forecast by visiting WRBL.com.
Attorney advertising. Georgia. Attorney 770 good law car accident lawyers. Paid after dramatization. Top dog does not mean we are the best. No guarantees of success.
You wake your wife up. Just had a crazy dream. You're trying to tell her about it. She had sleep. You telling her you gotta get up. You gotta listen to this dream. This may be a sign. I was driving in the dream and a car came out of nowhere, hit me head-on collision. Guy got out of his car, I got out of my car. All of a sudden, dogs run up to him, start biting him. You better let go. Person screaming, saying, let me go. Top dog, please, let me go. Not gonna believe this. It was Top Dog. Seen him in the flesh. It was Top Dog. Guy was offering money and everything, saying, whatever you want, please, just let me go. Every time he said a number, Top Dog bit him again, until he heard the number that he wanted, and then he let him go. It was Top Dog. Any accident, Top Dog Law.
Ugh, kitchen ants, runaway roaches, a spider. Relax, just use Zevo. Zevo insect killer sprays use a powerful blend of mint and rosemary to eliminate those pests and up to 20 other bug types. Plus, Zevo is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Just spray the bugs and wipe them away. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar Wednesday, July 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites at North Lake in Columbus at 5:30 p.m. Registration starts at 5 p.m. Stop smoking seminars at 8 p.m. with registration at 7:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Your home for Falcons football. SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to the SportsVisions morning show. Here's Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
It's not that I don't want you here. Yeah. It's something about the way.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions morning show. DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to all the folks out there that have been calling, texting, sending messages. And again, it's just been just a wonderful opportunity to say thank you. We appreciate you as well. I think we're more excited to be able to help wake you up in the morning than actually vice versa. But the fact of the matter is you were so kind to let us know that you appreciate us, and we appreciate you as well. Hey, without further ado, we got another guy that we talk about. And now, as I always say, Thrift, that, if you've been significant in this community in any capacity with regards to athletics, regardless of what you're doing today, if you have been someone that I consider an icon or has a legacy going in this community, you're going to be on this show at some point in time. And I still have a phone book this thick of people to get on. I finally had an opportunity to catch up with my old friend, Mike Peacock from his CSU days. And of course, he's gone on to do bigger and better things. And he's in fact an intricate part of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live broadcasting team. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Hey guys, how are y'all this morning?
Good, man. You're looking very distinguished this morning, man. I tell you, it's a lot. It's been a few years, but man, I tell you, I'm proud of you. I've been following you, and whether you know it or not, I've been hearing you broadcast and doing some tremendous things on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. You got a podcast going, and really proud of you, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, DJ. It's great to be kind of back in some of the swing of things, doing some broadcasting and getting into the podcasting gig. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, and thankfully working with Thrift, have a little bit of a platform to do that now, and it's really a lot of fun.
You mentioned the podcast, and why don't you go ahead and go get into that, because you have I know one in particular. You're probably a part of a couple, but one in particular with Marty Durden. I really enjoyed that one. Tell us a little bit about that, the podcast, and how it got started.
Well, Marty and I worked together at Cal a couple of years ago, I guess, and we started talking about doing a podcast. And Marty has written a book. He's working on another book, but he did a lot of research in the area of servant leadership for coaches and athletes. And he wrote a curriculum called A Higher Standard. And he started going around and presenting and speaking on this and helping coaches get involved with using this curriculum to learn how to be a better servant leader. He's also written one for athletes that they can use with their athletes to teach them servant leadership in their lives. And so we came up with the idea of basing a podcast on that curriculum and that idea of servant leadership. And our goal was to have coaches, administrators, and maybe even athletes or former athletes on the podcast and talk to them about how things have gone, how they've implemented different things, and where servant leadership comes in, and just talk about coaching and athletics in general. And thankfully, Georgia Alabama Sports Live gave us a platform to be able to get that thing out there and going, and we're trying to get it to gain more and more traction. And get it in front of more people and expand. Right now, our guests have kind of been limited to this Chattahoochee Valley area for the most part, and we're trying to expand outside that and make it a little bit more, maybe even go past regional and go to some national guests as we go forward in the weeks to come. So it's a lot of fun with Marty, and like I said, Marty is working on another book right now, and he is up at Shorter University. He's a professor up there, and he has moved. If you didn't know this, Marty's moved up to Cartersville, and that is closer for him. It's closer to his grandson, which is, when you get our age, DJ, sometimes those grandkids become real important.
Yes.
So he's closer to his son up there and his grandchild, and we're having a lot of fun doing this podcast.
That's some great information. Again, Mike, with regards to you, I made reference to in the intro about Columbus State, but you've obviously grew up in the area not far from here. But why don't we go back for the benefit of the folks that don't know you in the Sports Visions Nation? Why don't we just bring them, go back to where it all started and bring them up to speed to include all of those great years at Columbus State?
Yeah, absolutely. I started out as a coach in Alabama, primarily over in the East Alabama region. I was in Roanoke, Alabama for a couple of years, and I was in Alexander City at Benjamin Russell for a couple of years. And then I was at Horseshoe Bend School and really kind of thought maybe that might be where I retired and stayed as a coach for a long time. But then, as God does, he opens doors and he has things going on. And my wife finished her master's degree at Auburn and was hired by Russell Corporation when Russell was still one of the biggest names in athletic wear in the country.
Yes.
And the division she was hired in was based here in Columbus at that time. And so we ended up moving to Columbus in 1995. I had been, after I stopped playing baseball at Livingston University, which is now the University of West Alabama, after I stopped playing baseball, I became a student assistant in the sports information office over there, working under the legend D. Outlaw, and learned that trade from, at being a student worker, and then parlayed that into, after 7 years of coaching, made a phone call to D and said, "Hey, I'm moving to Columbus. I know they have a Division II school there. I'd really like to get back into sports information. Can you make a phone call to Herbert Green? I know you know him. Can you make a phone call to Herbert Green and see if they might need somebody or there might be an opportunity?" And lo and behold, didn't think it was going to happen. It wasn't going to happen, and then it did happen. Herbert hired me as an experiment in 1995, and I was there for 16 years. And had a wonderful, wonderful career at CSU. Got to be a part of a lot of things. I've got a national championship ring from the baseball team, and was a part of another national champion team in golf, and also a national championship in cheerleading. Jimbo, by the way, if you're listening to this, but numerous conference championships, and was able to promote tons of All-American players in several sports, and be a part of a lot of fantastic things growing up over there, and literally growing up over there in that position. And it ended in 2011, and we won't talk about that ending, but that thing, that happened, and I'm anybody who knows me knows I'm a man of faith, and things always happen for a reason. And since 2011, I've been able to be a part of some great things. And a few years ago, my friend Graham Dunn over in Montgomery called me up one day when I was driving to Atlanta for something. I don't remember what we were doing, and he said, "Hey," he said, "I'm going to be the play-by-play guy on Raycom Sports for some high school football." And he said, "I need a color guy. Would you be interested in doing that?" And I jumped on it. Of course I did. And we had a good run of about 4 or 5 seasons where we did high school football games. We started with a game of the week the first year, and then we kind of did away with the game of the week and moved to the playoffs and Super 7. And so I was a part of several Super 7s. One year we even did all 7 games.
Wow.
Talk about a busy week, doing 7 football games in 3 days. That was a lot, and that was the only year we did that. But it was a ton of fun. I mean, we had a blast. And then Raycom, of course, didn't get renewed for the contract. And then not very long after that, Raycom was bought out by Gray Media, who is WTVM here in Columbus. And they were out of the Alabama High School Athletic Association business, I guess you would say. And I think the last year that we did it was the first state championship that Central won when they beat Thompson. And when Tagovailoa was the quarterback. Talia Tagovailoa was the quarterback at Thompson. And great team that Jamie DuBose had over there at Central. So got to do that, and then kind of stepped back out of it. And then a couple of years ago, Jay Sparks was back at CSU in an interim capacity, and he asked me if I would come back and help with some things at CSU. Kind of got back in the saddle a little bit. Did some things for Scott Miller. Scott had an illness, and filled in for him for a couple of games, and then did some of the other sports on their streaming. And last year, I was the color analyst for Scott Miller the entire basketball season for all home games. And then David Spitzmiller, my supervisor at my job now, kept telling me, "Why don't you need to meet this guy Thrift Barringer, and y'all need to get together on this thing." And so we did finally. We finally got together, and this year has just been fantastic for me, being able to do a lot of football games, a lot of basketball games, a lot of baseball games, and now even a couple of soccer games here lately with Columbus United. So it's been a lot of fun getting back into it.
And Mike, I'm very appreciative of David Spitzmiller. There's not a person that David doesn't recommend. I feel like he is just he's a guy that everybody loves, and if you get him in your corner, you want someone like that that can promote you and always look after you. So shout out David Spitzmiller, love you, man. But Mike, I want you to talk about the sports information part of it, because we got a lot of young listeners right now that want to get into sports, but maybe can't play at that level or can't go professionally, but want to get involved and stay involved in the sport. You made mention of how you decided to get into that avenue 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the criteria to be a good sports information director, and what does it take, and what are the things you have to do when you were in that role?
Well, it is a job that is, you are behind the scenes, but you are an integral part of what's going on. First of all, you have to love sports. You can't just love one sport. You have to love all sports, and you have to be willing to not be a guy that is always looking at his watch or looking at a clock on the wall, because sports really, you can't, even though some sports have a clock that runs during the competition, there's a lot to do behind the scenes. There's a lot to prepare for. There's a lot to get done after the games have ended, and you've got to be willing to be there, and you got to be willing to show up, and you got to show up every day. But if you love sports, you get paid to go to ball games. That's what I used to tell people all the time. I said I get paid to be at ball games all the time, and I get paid to be involved and to talk about sports all the time. Of course, there's a lot of writing involved, so it really helps if you develop your writing skills. So those of you who are listening, if there's any youngsters out there listening to us, pay attention in English and get good at writing in English, and then develop a little bit of a style for a journalistic type of writing, so that you can write a narrative, game stories, biographical sketches for players and coaches, press releases. DJ can attest, back in his TV days, our office turned out tons of press releases.
Yes, sir.
And that's what it's all about. You keep everybody notified, and you keep the media up to date on what's going on. with everything. You are media relations, your communications, your media relations, your public relations. You just wear a lot of hats. You're responsible for all the scoring and statistics for all of the games. So you learn how to do that, which is great skill, by the way. If you can score baseball and softball, if you can be a scorer in soccer, if you can be a scorer in basketball, and a lot of people call that keeping the book. If you can keep the book in those sports and learn how to do that, that's a lifelong skill that you can use for years and years and years. I mean, think about. I'll mention Kathy Gear. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Kathy Gear, is a pro, and she helped me at CSU when we were stretched thin. She would come over and fill in and do baseball games for me, and love Kathy to death. And she's one of the best official scorers, that has ever walked around. And yes, she's a female, and yes, she did baseball. She did minor league baseball for years and years, and she knows what she's talking about. And so it doesn't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can put those skills in motion, and it's a way to be involved. I was on the coaching side, and then I was on this side. I was on the player side first. I was on the coaching side later, and then on this administrative side. And a lot of times you can parlay your experience as a sports information guy into an administrator type role. My last 5 years at CSU, I was an assistant athletic director. I also did NCAA compliance, which was back in that day was a lot more difficult than it is now, because things have really changed in that landscape. But so you can do tons of things, and you learn how to do different things that you can carry with you the rest of your life. And I learned a lot about broadcasting. I told Thrift the other day, I was on the show with he and Richard, and I started doing a little bit of broadcasting back when I was coaching. I did basketball as a color analyst and a little bit of play-by-play while I was coaching, and kind of got bitten by that bug back then, and was able to do more when I was at CSU. And it's just something that has kind of come a little bit natural to me. My wife says I like to talk too much, but my dad was a preacher, so I think I got that genetically. And my gift of gab, I guess you'd say. Sometimes I talk too much, but anyway.
Mike Peacock is our guest this morning on the Sports Visions Morning Show, and he's the multi-talented guy. You just heard about just a number of things that he was capable of doing. But Mike, I cut my teeth on my first sports information director that I was directly involved with. Was a guy that you know very well. His name is Claude Felton. He's a legend. He's not only an SEC legend. He's an NCAA sports legend as far as sports information directors. And I know that that's an unsung position because you guys are the faces and the voices and the directors and the coordinators for all of the sports, all of the coaches, all of the players. I mean, you make us look good, and that's a part of it that goes unsung. Like you said, you have to be totally selfless, because again, with all the directions and you're a traffic cop, you're controlling or you're running press conferences. But my question over the years, and my experience, and then just my humble experience of being around a couple of decades in this business, dealing with the SEC and some of the other conferences, when you have stuff like what's coming up real soon here, the SEC Media Days, or for that matter, any major press conferences, a major press conference, I don't understand why that the not so much the SID or the leader of the organization, but why so much as the assistants and some of the people that work within the organization are so buttoned up, so tight, so tense when it comes to dealing with the media folk. And again, whether that's giving credentials or whether that's whatever it is, it's just like, man, they're almost like soldiers. Why don't those guys relax a little bit?
Well, you get hit from so many directions, especially in the bigger schools like the SEC. I can't even imagine how many requests they get for credentialing and media on a really pretty much a daily basis, and you have to be careful. because there are some people out there whose motives are not great. And if you credential them and get them into a press conference, they can wreck a press conference, and they can take it in directions that you don't want to go. And they can, it's sort of like some of these. Sometimes you see things on TV in the news where somebody slips into a press conference and they end up heckling and uh, causing a disturbance because of some kind of protest they want to be on. And that happens, unfortunately, that happens in sports too. And it happens in sports press conferences. So I think over the years, a lot of people, there have been some times where people have been burned by maybe false folks getting into press conferences, and there's a lot of pressure for it to go well. You don't want to be the school who sends a coach to a podium and he's unprepared. So you've spent time helping your coaches and your athletes get prepared and get them ready for any kind of question to be answered to them. So everybody kind of tightens up when you're in the spotlight, and it is, there's a lot of pressure there. You want your operation to be known as one that's professional and polished and very good, and you don't want little mistakes to ruin it. And so that's kind of why, DJ, I think a lot of people kind of get tied around those things, and they're careful who gets to ask the questions, or they try to be careful who gets to ask the questions, and they just want everything to go almost perfect, I think.
And I think that's a great point, Mike, especially when it comes to the higher levels like college and pro. But more specifically for high school, I'm starting to see more and more of the change, and you're seeing it too. How the way we engulf media, like we are a morning radio show, but we got a ton of viewers on Facebook and YouTube, and we have Spotify and Apple Podcasting. I mean, we're so many avenues to ingest content and stuff. So I think that now more than ever, you're going to have to see more SIDs and more people that are in charge of these press conferences and allowing people on the field for high school state championships. You got to start including, this new social media, if you will, people out there. Now they do need to be vetted, but they're covering the sport just as much as anyone else is. And this is how people are getting a lot of their stuff. So how do you think the landscape of media has changed over the years since you were at CSU when it was terrestrial to now everybody and their mom can have a podcast saying they're covering a team?
Absolutely. And it is, back in the day, we were still using fax machines and stuff like that. And we finally got into the age of email and the age of being able to send our stats in electronically instead of having to fax them or something like that. And, as technology has progressed, and like you said, Thrift, now anybody can jump on and stream. There's so many services out there and so many avenues out there, and there's so many people. There are a lot of people who think they're good at it, and they jump on there and they do it. And a lot of those people really, when they start out, they're not very good at it, but they really develop over time and they become very good at it.
Right.
Then there are some who, I don't know, they just try it out for a while. It's a hobby. It's something they want to do, and that's all they're there for. But I think at the college level, especially, and at the pro level, those guys in media relations are vetting people. If they get media requests, they're going to go look and see what your following is. They're going to go see what your quality of work is, and they're going to make sure you're legit. And then if you're legit and you're working with a legit group of people, you're probably going to get credentialed and you're probably going to get allowed to be included. But if you are, some guy that's going off half cocked and you've got everything you do is a hot topic or something like that you're trying to touch nerves with everything you go out, you might not get credentialed because you might be one of those guys that's going to come into a press conference and ask a question that disrupts instead of staying with what's going on. And there are guys out there, and that's all they want to do. They just want to disrupt. There are plenty of disruptors in the streaming world with podcasts and with their own little web shows and things like that. And everything has to be a hot take. I mean, everything has to be controversy. Everything has to be really opinionated. And there's some hosts on ESPN that have made quite a great living off that, ESPN and other services. But those guys have become professional at it, and they know where their boundaries are and what they can and can't do. But it's fun to be a part of this, But me, I'm one of those people. I like to do it right, and I like to see people who do it right, and I have a ton of respect for people who do it right. And I have much less respect for people on there who are just trying to get likes and follows.
Exactly.
And and not really paying attention to the quality of their work and what they're doing.
Mike Peacock is a multi-talented media personality. He's a sports broadcaster and a former SID. And this is a question, and it's kind of a slippery slope as it pertains to being an SID. As and you're working for the university, obviously you have a boss, which is the athletic director. But in a program with successful coaches, you have to take care of the coaches as well. How do you handle being able to, again, answer to your athletic director, and of course, whatever coach, whether that's the baseball coach, basketball coach, football coach, golf team? I mean, those guys are really, really valuable in their own right. And God forbid if they're won championships and are, driving revenue to the programs. How do you become, or what's the best way to say that? How do you maintain your allegiances to your position?
Well, you first of all, and I tried this, I did this at Columbus State. You have to help the coaches understand and respect your professionalism and your role. And you have to let them know, look, this is my domain. Scoring, for example, scoring and statistics, that's my domain. I don't come to your dugout and tell you how to coach third base. You don't come to my press box and tell me that was an error, or a hit, that I should score that an error or a hit. That's not your job. And there are a lot of, I encountered that in baseball a lot with other schools, that the baseball coach would call the press box and tell the SID to change the scoring. And I always had a meeting with coaches, and I would say, look, this is what I do. I'm a professional at this. I know what I'm doing, and you're going to have to trust me that I'm going to score it right. I'm not going to score it with favoritism. I'm not going to score it, with a home field advantage slant. I'm going to score it correctly. And accuracy is huge in our business, and I'm going to be accurate. And over time, you might rub some coaches the wrong way, but thankfully, I had an athletic director that backed me 100% in that role, and we never had very many issues. We had some discussions. I'll put it that I'll call them discussions. We had some discussions. But we would come to sometimes we came to compromises, and sometimes we didn't. But they have to understand that you have a role and that you're a professional. You don't work for them. I wanted coaches to know, look, I don't work for you. We're colleagues. We're on the same level. You don't tell me what to do. The athletic director tells me what to do. And so as long as we understand that and professional about it, we can talk, and we can come to compromises, and we can have calm discussions about it. But you don't dictate what I do, and most coaches respected that during that time, and it's something that you have to learn a little bit especially as a young SID. You have to learn to stand your ground. You have to learn to defend yourself a little bit, and eventually you're going to earn respect. If you are truly a professional, you're going to earn that respect, and they're going to have a whole lot more respect for you then than they would otherwise.
Mike, in that same space, I want to address something with regards to the media again, with you being the sports information director and in charge of that particular platform. How do you handle the veteran writers, the broadcasters, the young ones, the guys, the newcomers? I mean, obviously, again, and we kind of hit on it a little bit earlier about proving your worth and being, as far as getting credentials, but the personalities that you have to deal with on a day in, day out basis, regardless of whether it's CSU, Auburn, Georgia, the Falcons, the Braves. But you see these group of writers and these group of reporters, these anchors, these broadcasters, and they come to the conferences, they come to the games. How do you handle it? Is it a situation where, based on tenure, you just get to know and develop it organically, or you guys, it's more about research, as you said before?
Well, there's a lot of research to it, DJ, but there's also a lot of getting to know. You recognize who's going to show up and who's going to be consistent, and then you kind of learn about them as you go. Some of them, like you say, some of them might be big name people that you've known for a long time. For example, I'll give you Philip Marshall. You know who Philip Marshall is. He does Auburn 247 now.
Yes.
I met Philip way back when I was a college student and working the Division II baseball championship. He would come down every year, and from his, I think he was at Huntsville at the newspaper there, and he would come down every year. First few years we had that tournament in Montgomery, and he was always in the hospitality room afterward, as were a lot of the old school Birmingham News, Birmingham Post-Herald writers, the Montgomery Advertiser writers. I mean, I got to know and meet a lot of those legendary guys back then, hanging out with them after games in the hospitality room, and then also hanging out with them in the press box and working with them in the press boxes there. And that's another thing I was able to do. I was able to work that tournament for 22 straight years in Montgomery, and saw a lot of great baseball, by the way. But you get to know those people, and you learn kind of what their personality is, and you learn a little bit about how to handle them. It's just an experience thing. And then with the younger guys, if they keep showing up, it's sort of like a salesman. It's sort of like a marketing guy, what I do now. If you show up and you're consistent, you earn a lot of respect out of the people that you're going to see. And so those younger guys, if they just show up and they participate, and it looks like they're doing it right. I thought Jack from WRBL a couple of years ago had a great thing where, is it Marty Smith from ESPN?
Yeah, Marty
stopped, and Jack was doing a stand up after a game, and Marty came over and approached him, and said, "Man, I've been where you are. I know what you're trying to do," and I thought that was a great thing for Marty to do. And Jack posted that. I said, that is cool that a guy like Marty would come to a guy like Jack doing a stand up and encourage him. And so I think that, if you've been in it a long time and you see these guys that are out there and they're working their tail off trying to get going, you become an encourager, and you go with it. And I think that's what you do. But DJ, you have to just learn people as you go, and then you learn kind of what makes them tick a little bit, and you learn what makes them happy. And sometimes you don't make them happy, to be quite honest. But it's just a process.
Well, Mike, we certainly have enjoyed you sharing that knowledge and dropping those nuggets about the business. And again, man, you have a great rest of your morning. Before you get out of here, let everybody know again how they can find the podcast or where they can follow you on social media.
Well, we are on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. It publishes every Sunday night at 7 p.m. It publishes and gets out there, and we spread it around, and we try to get it out on as many social medias as we can. Marty and I still have to develop our own little social media thing. That's something that we've been in process, and we just got to get time to sit down and do it. We're gonna each get we're gonna get a step up, make a difference page on social media, and we got to get that done. We got to get that going. But you can look me up on Instagram, Facebook. You can look Marty up on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as well. We just try to get everything out there that we can, and we're trying to expand this thing and get it to hold some traction. I've got some ideas for a couple of other podcasts that I'd like to do and get started, and maybe some other things around this. So, we're having a lot of fun. But look for us. We'll publish every week on Sunday night at 7. We're on YouTube. Look up Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and you'll see the link there, and enjoy it. We had a good time. This past Sunday, we talked about being a father. It was just Marty and myself. We talked about fatherhood, how important that is. So with it being Father's Day. So that's this week's episode, and it's out there. Go give it a watch and share it with everybody you can.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. Mike Peacock. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, thanks, guys, for having me. Anytime. Call me anytime.
All right. Mike Peacock, boy, I tell you, man, incredible opportunities that he's had in the business, and to get back in is just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity.
And I will always appreciate my guy, David Spitzmiller, for introducing, and he's done an excellent job being a part of Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Spitzmiller is a boss. He is a boss, man. I tell you that. Hey, let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
I'm done waiting, there's nothing left to do but give all I have to you, and I better find your loving.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here's a great idea. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Yes, one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program and we'll come and remove your car for free. Fast, free towing, and 24-hour response. You can donate most cars, trucks, or SUVs in most conditions. The proceeds raised goes to help active military, veterans, and their families, and you get a tax deduction. All you need to do is make this free call. Get rid of that old car and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now and book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Donation Program now. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Operators are standing by. Here's the number.
800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. That's 800-890-7021.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar Wednesday, July 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites at North Lake in Columbus at 5:30 p.m. Registration starts at 5 p.m. Stop smoking seminars at 8 p.m. with registration at 7:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
It's summertime, and that means it's time for cookouts and company relaxing outside. So that means it's time for you to pay a visit to Gory's luxurious outdoor patio. Shop their beautiful outdoor furniture that's made to last season after season. Sofas, love seats, and even outdoor recliners. And that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the
free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code AIRPORT25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code AIRPORT25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code AIRPORT25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. 12 to 3 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Carver Tigers legend DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Good Wednesday morning. It's Way Back Wednesday, man. And I'm going to social media with some way back pictures from way back when, Thrift. I know that, again, just talking to Mike Peacock here, man, he takes me back to my days at WRBL as on the sports desk and, you know, the tremendous job that he's done. And you could tell by the way he's able to tell those stories. And he was even keeled. He was even keeled then as a young man. And he, of course, has experienced life and, of course, has a family. And he's still that same cool guy. And you can tell his professionalism on the broadcast on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Exactly. And I love that he was able to join in and just go with the flow. And he's done a great job and will be even bigger part coming up this next year.
Big shout out to David Spitzmiller. I tell you, man, I met that guy many, many years ago. And I tell you again, you're right. If you got a guy like that on your team, boy, I tell you, you don't need many. He can get it done. And we appreciate what David Spitzmiller means to the region, not just the community, to the region. He's been on board with a lot of folks. I know most recently he's been spearheading and trying to definitely get all the attention over at the basketball program with Robert Moore and, of course, raising funds and getting behind him. I know he was an integral part of having, to promote you and being behind what you do at Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And certainly I can definitely attest to him being a guy that can get it done because he was definitely an advocate for me and promoted what I've been doing. And again, it's just been special. This guy's he's different. He's different, and he's a coach. He's a promoter. He's a marketing guy. He's just a winner.
Yeah, he's definitely a winner. And this guy, and when you got him on you got to have a David Spitzville on your team. When he believes in what you do, he'll go to bat for you. He'll solicit for you. And I'm always thankful because he started when I was just doing it off my phone before even Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I was just doing games off my phone. He helped get me some sponsors and introduced me to a world of hey, this is what you can go ask for, and you should get as much money as you can. You do a great product, and now you've seen what it turned into. So I'm always thankful for David believing in me in the very beginning, and glad he introduced me to Mike Peacock.
Absolutely. Hey, we got a lot of folks that chimed in that first interview. Again, I want to, if you go ahead and give the shout outs that the folks out there deserve.
All right. Thank you to Stanley Crowell. As always, he says, good morning, and everybody, welcome to Hump Day. Corey Black says, love Mike Peacock, great person. Ray Beach says, tell Mike I said, hey, Ricky Rogers. Big Rick says, good morning, Sports Visions. Happy Hump Day. Richard said, Mike Peacock, a great broadcaster, more importantly, a great person. And Rick Beach says, I can 100% vouch for that. Show up and be on time. Consistency and respect pays off with SIDs. As Rick did something similar, just young and up-and-coming guy, started showing up to Auburn, gotten their respect, and now he's kind of grandfathered in to cover all the Auburn sports. And then last but not least, Sandra Vett Shelton with good morning.
Also, my good friend Devereen Walker, I appreciate you listening this morning. Again, Devereen Walker Scott. Again, I know Leo Scott is out there. He's one of my old Edgewood teammates and one of my Carver High School alum. Again, he's Leo was one of those guys that he's been playing golf a long time. He was playing golf long before anybody that in our age group was even thought it was fashionable. But again, I was I posted me swinging out and taking some swings out at the driving range and took some pictures and posted. And then he came on and he says, he wanted to play golf. I don't think I'm ready for you yet, Leo. If you're listening out there, Devereen, let him know that I appreciate it and I will, but I got to get a little bit more practice in. I'm not going to go out and embarrass myself. So, Leo, just give me a few weeks, few months maybe, and you'll get a call from DJ.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you on that. I hate going out and doing something that I'm not successful or at least, not the rust off a little bit. That's how I feel about playing pickup basketball. I want to get in the gym, get some shots up before I go out there and try to embarrass myself.
No doubt. No, but basketball days are over. The ankles and the ligaments and the muscles are all way past that. I'm not ripping up, tearing up anything by going out thinking that I could still jump and still, because all those quick twitch moves that you have to make. You're young, if you're still, you're still able to put a little ice on it and you'll be all right. But I mean, me, I put a little ice on it. It ain't, I might as well put a cast on it because it ain't gonna heal. 706-324-1420 is the number to call if, in fact, you want to chime in. If it's something that we haven't mentioned or we aren't talking about, if you have an individual or an athlete or a student athlete that you want us to make mention of, or you have something an announcement that you want to make. I know that it's summer, and again, the kids are playing summer league camps and whatnot, off the camps and whatnot. But more importantly, the Swoosh Summer League with George Williams is going to be starting back up today. Thrift, I know you guys have on slated to do something with them.
Yeah, so we were able to be there on Monday, and glad we were able to get some of the games in then. And then this is the last day of his Swoosh League. He does it 2 weeks, 4 different days, 2 days each week. And coming up today, he's going to be playing at Jordan and Shaw High School. We got games like Calvary at Greenville, Kendrick Smith Station, Kendrick in Manchester, Jordan in Greenville. Those are all going to be playing at Jordan High School. And at Shaw, we got Central Shaw at 4, Carver Abbeville at 5, Central Chatco at 6, Carver Hardaway at 7, and the nightcap Shaw Chatco at 8 p.m. all tonight at the George Williams. This is a crime prevention program Swoosh League.
All right. I tell you, now, if you're an advocate for basketball, you just love good old competition. That's not a bad, thing, something to do. I mean, if you want to get out and watch some kids really compete and chop it up, it's a great opportunity to get out to some of the local gymnasiums. You mentioned the games will be where, Thrift?
The games are going to be at Jordan and Shaw High School.
And they start at what time?
They're going to be starting at as early as 2 p.m. And 1 p.m. at each location. Those are going to be JV games. And then the rest of the games after that are all going to be varsity. And also CSU has their women's team camp. So we got a bunch of local teams. We'll be there tomorrow for that. Harris County Central, Smith Station Central. Also, we got Shaw playing in it as well, Northside, Glenwood. So those are some of the local teams. Coach Matt Hauser hosting a team camp just like Robert Moore and the boys did last week. So we will be there tomorrow to get some of those games.
I tell you what, Robert did a tremendous job, of course, inviting in all the teams to come in. I hope that Matt will have just as many because, again, it's nothing like having all of these wonderful programs from all around the region, not just in Columbus, but all around the region on both sides of the river coming in and to experience that campus, experience that beautiful Lumpkin Center facility, and, of course, have an opportunity to live the day in the life of a college student by being able to be on campus, eat over there in that wonderful cafeteria, and just enjoy some great basketball.
I completely agree with that. And that's why I go out and it's free. You get to watch multiple courts going on. And then next week for the kiddos, just like they did for soccer, for basketball, boys and girls, you got the half-day basketball camp, and then you got the full day, which you have the swimming and you'll be able to eat in the cafeteria. I love what CSU's doing with this, and you can sign that up right now. He says he's already got close to 100 kids signed up for that camp next week. So for any age, go out, CSU basketball, individual kids camp. I know Robert Moore's got his camp coming up as well at night. So go to their website. You can see all the information on kids camp at CSU.
Who's in charge of the kids camp?
So Matt Hauser's doing one and Robert Moore. So they're both going to be having their own kids camp where they'll have assistant coaches and obviously players helping instruct all the little kids on how to play basketball.
Absolutely. While we're talking basketball, Thrift, the NBA Finals is going on, if you didn't know out there. I know that a lot of people are not watching, but OKC leads this series 3 games to 2. Game 6 will be tomorrow in Indianapolis at 8:30. And Thrift, on all indications, it looks like everything is pointed toward OKC taking this thing. However, they're going back to Indianapolis. And again, I know that Tyrese Halliburton is gimpy. He's wounded, and he is the key in my mind with regards to Indianapolis continuing to be competitive in this series.
Yeah, I think with Tyrese gone, this series is done. At least it got to 6. I was hoping 7. Indiana had a chance to win in game 4 if they would have held on to that victory. Tyrese doesn't get hurt. I think Indiana ends up winning in 6, but because of losing that game, Shea was fantastic down the stretch. Tyrese now with a hamstring is just not going to be able to get past those athletic, young, fast, quick, suffocating defenders of OKC. I think they're going to win tonight by double digits, and I think the OKC team now goes statistically as one of the best teams we've seen in NBA history.
If, in fact, Tyrese is out, is not effective, why wouldn't we, or who are some of the names that we should see to be able to step up? Who has to step up? Who needs to step up?
Yeah, TJ McConnell is a guy that has been sensational off the bench. He put up 18 in game 5. I would expect him to get the bulk of those minutes. McConnell is a guy that's a leader, can hit threes, and very underrated bench player that plays excellent defense. I expect him to get the bulk of the load, but without Tyrese, I just don't see how they're going to have enough firepower to take on the greatness of which is OKC.
I'm just curious though. I know we initially talked about some of the numbers after game 1 and 2, but have you basically followed to see if the numbers are improving at all with regards to the ratings and all the eyeballs that are on the finals? I know, again, we in previous years, 15, 16, 20 million viewers now. Again, we reported the other day, probably 8-9 million viewers, which is like not a little bit less than half of the viewers that is normally an NBA Finals will get. And again, because of the markets, Indianapolis as well as Oklahoma City are not the media darlings of the networks. But again, it is what it is. It's the finals. It's the best of the best, and we will get a world champion out of that, regardless of whatever the ratings are. But I'm just curious if you had any other information regarding, has it picked up, has it dropped off, has it pretty much remained the same?
Yeah, so it actually has picked up. It was at 9.41 million viewers at game 4. It went up to 9.54 in game 5. So it is going up, very small though, still not hitting double digits, and still an all-time downer in terms of ratings compared to other ones. I think the basketball's been great. And now if OKC wins this, I think the mission for Silver in the NBA is we got to market OKC, and we got to get Shea out there, and either he's got to open up as a personality. He's very boring and there's nothing wrong with this. If you would rather have your superstar like Shea, but in terms of marketability, he's just not doing the flashy stuff. He does all the great things. He does everything great, doesn't do everything flashy. And that's hard. Ant-Man is more of a personality. It's easy to get a mic in front of him. Shea is very, restricted in what he says. He's very calculated. They got to make a mission because the Thunder ain't going anywhere. They're young. Their best 2 players are below 25 years old. So they're going to keep winning championships. So either ratings are going to continue to suck, or the NBA is going to have to do a better job of marketing their superstar team.
All right, let's go ahead and take another break. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good morning, I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. A former Uber driver from Opelika will spend 75 years behind bars after being convicted in a high-profile sexual assault trial. A Lee County jury found 46-year-old Theodore Halls Jr. guilty of attacking 2 passengers in separate incidents. His sentences will be served consecutively. Columbus police are asking for your help identifying 2 suspects connected to a stunt driving incident at St. Mary's Shopping Center. One man, 21-year-old Antoine Wyatt, was arrested, but 2 others fled the scene. Anyone with information about the incident is urged to call CPD at 706-225-3400. You can also remain anonymous. Senator John Ossoff is pushing to replace the aging Dexter Elementary School at Fort Benning. During a Senate hearing, he secured a key commitment from Army leadership to expedite construction for military families. Ossoff also previously secured $500,000 for planning and design as part of the National Defense Authorization Act. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Wednesday morning. I hope you have the umbrella today. We've got a chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon and early evening. Highs today reaching the low 90s. Tonight will drop down into the low 70s. And for your Thursday, watch out for showers and storms during the afternoon and evening, and still staying hot with highs in the low 90s. Don't forget you can stay up to date with your latest forecast by visiting WRBL.com.
At Cartoons Car Stereo in Columbus, buy it today, get it installed today. That's right, same day installation. Cartoons, Rockford Fosgate products, stereo head units, amps, speakers, speaker boxes, alarms, remote starts, navigation units, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and so much more. Get same day installation today. Call or stop by today for details. Cartoons on Veterans Parkway in Columbus.
Find all of your favorite Ford vehicles at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. SUVs to fit the whole family? Check. Performance muscle cars to hit the open road? Check. Tough trucks, compact crossovers, hybrids, and EVs of all shapes and sizes? Check, check, and check. With hundreds of new and used vehicles in stock, our team is dedicated to getting you behind the wheel of the Ford of your dreams. Whether you're leasing or purchasing your next Ford, visit us in person at our Columbus showroom, located at 1680 Whittlesey Road, for our signature personalized service. Or shop our extensive selection of vehicles online anytime at rivertownford.com. And remember, you'll never pay retail at Rivertown Ford.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now. Without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Hypnosis designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special only $49.99. Become a non-smoker. That's right. Seminar Wednesday, July 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites at Northlake in Columbus. Stop smoking seminars at 8 p.m. Weight loss seminars at 5:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Your home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to our guy, Mike Peacock. Man, I tell you what, this guy has done it, and he has done it well, and he's been able to rejuvenate his sports broadcasting career via Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. So, Thrift, you're touching lives whether you know it or not.
I appreciate that, DJ, and I appreciate Mike Peacock coming on as always. And DJ, by the way, we were talking about NBA Finals when we went to break. Javar Rakestraw just literally commented as soon as we got back. Imagine not having basketball on Father's Day. That was a blessing in the 90s. Poor marketing and planning by the NBA. People are tired on business days. I agree. And he's talking about how the NBA Finals were playing on this Monday instead of Sunday night. But I still think the viewership would have been the same. We've seen a game be on a Sunday night before in this NBA Finals, and it didn't translate to anything. So I don't know if it's weekday or weekends is making the biggest difference.
I like his thought, though. I mean, it gives you a shot, to know that everybody's home and,
A good point.
Yeah, so, yeah. But who cares? Obviously, it is what it is, and regardless of whether people watch it or not, I'm enjoying the hell out of it, and I'm going to follow it. I'm a sports fan. I'm an NBA fan, and I'm going to watch it, because I want to see a wonderful finish to the season.
I do too, and I enjoy watching it as well. And I think next year too, a couple things. It's going to be on new platforms. Maybe people are kind of tired of it continuously being on ESPN. Maybe they want to see it on NBC and get a new voice. Charles Shack and them joining as a halftime, maybe that can also improve the ratings. There are going to be some things that make it better, but in the end, it's all about the star power. People don't, I think, underestimate how great of a player Shea is just because of his personality.
Yeah, you almost threw me off there because, again, you're talking about seeing different people, personalities, and I mean, hell, it's the teams, it's the markets. That's why it's down like that.
Yeah.
Make no bones about it. That's exactly what it was before we started, and I talked about it. I mentioned it now because it is reality. Oklahoma City, Indianapolis versus the other choices that we talked about, the bigger markets. It's just who we are, who we become, who the networks obviously say, because when there are more eyeballs in cities, when there's, several million versus several 100,000, you know what? It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it is a no-brainer. But right now they're getting doubled for an NBA Finals last year that was, again, mediocre. It's not like it was the greatest either, but that they not even hitting the double-digit threshold in the millions of views. That is, you got to think worrisome. But I keep going back to the reason why Adam's not as worried is because his product is still being digested. Here's the thing. ESPN's paying a lot of money for the rights for these games, and no one is watching. When does that translate for when they're going and sell sponsors? I really would love to get in the mind of someone that's high up there and think like, all right, you got a $9 million. Are sponsors going to want to pay next year just as much, seeing that this past NBA Finals was not as great? And you paid the NBA all this money to keep the games. So I'm wondering, how's ESPN? Are they pushing Adam like, hey, we got to get more people watching these games. We need it for our sponsors.
Well, again, that's above my pay grade. And
Me
again,
too.
it's a little bit more sophisticated than just that. But the fact of the matter is that these people paid a ton of money, and they're going to get I'm sure they're going to get their money's worth. It's just not one of those deals. Well, hey, I want a refund because, again, I'm not getting
You're not getting no refund.
No, exactly. No, ain't no refund in that business. And again, it'll all work out based on everything it always has. And, in years before us and, and all throughout my life, it's gotten bigger and better. They've always had whoever would have thought that Stephen A. Smith would have been making $100 million on a 4-year deal, $25 million a year. And again, that's just from ESPN. That's just from ABC. That's just from Disney.
Yeah, that's not even talking about him. The
podcast,
all of the satellite radio. And he's getting paid that money to play solitaire during an NBA Finals game.
Yeah, absolutely. 706-324-1420 is the number to call. And, of course, let's go ahead and go right to Wichita, Kansas, where our golf PGA caddy extraordinaire is on the scenes, boots on the ground in Wichita, Kansas. Good morning. How are you, Sid?
Hey, DJ. Good morning to you all, man. How you all doing?
Really good, man. It's been a few weeks, and I know you've been traveling quite a bit, but you're in Wichita for the event there. And, again, I know that there's a couple of different events going on, but go ahead and paint the picture as to why you are in Wichita.
Well, I'm in Wichita, Kansas. This week it's the Corn Fair tournament, and that's the tour right below the PGA. So the top 20 guys out here after the season, they get a full card on the PGA Tour next year.
Yes.
So I'm caddying for Richard Rowinski this week. He's a Georgia Tech man. He played on the PGA Tour. He's just trying to get it back together on the Corn Ferry and get back out there on that PGA Tour.
Good deal. Glad to have you back. Like I said, it's been a few weeks. However, I know that you have been traveling something something crazy. But for the benefit of the folks out there that don't understand how the PGA Tour works and how you as a caddy traveled with your golfer and your professional golfer, why don't you give them just a little executive summary of how you guys travel and make the plans, or who makes the plan from week to week, from event to event?
Well, since I last talked to you, I was working for William Mao, a young kid out of Pepperdine, but I'm not working with him anymore. I'm working with Braden Thornberry full-time on the PGA Tour now. So we'll play next week in Detroit, back on the PGA Tour. But this week, like I said, I'm in Wichita with Richie Rowinski. But it is a lot of travel, So we, the players, they just say, hey, Sid, I'm playing in Wichita. You want to go? You say yes or no. You say yes, and you get your plane fare and book your hotel, and you're on your way. Out of the country, international flights, the players usually pick those expenses up. But we make a good salary out here, even though we don't make the cut. So the way it works is we have a salary for the week, and we have a percentage of the purse that they make if they make the cut. So we go off that, and we just try to have a good week, DJ.
Said, do you guys have an association, golfers, or a caddy association, or somewhat of a union? How does all of that get translates into everybody being taken care of on time and accurately?
So the caddies, we're basically independent contractors. On the PGA Tour, we have the a caddy association, but that's more so for not jobs, but sometimes you may get a job from it, but we don't have a union. The caddy association on the PGA Tour is more for insurance purposes, networking, sponsor deals. We have a gentleman out there that helps us set up retirement. So it's more for, just to help us sometimes with our retirement and just some things like that. But
right
out here, it's more going through agents, knowing the players, like players change. Like I said, I've changed. So players change. You may have a player that says, hey, Cedric, you want to work with me next week? Or how's it going with your current player? Or you just working with a player and it's not working out. So you just decide to change.
Cedric, you're out there on the course right now, and it looks absolutely beautiful, by the way. I enjoy seeing the background. What a spot to do an interview. But I got to ask, as a guy that's not in the golf profession and is interested, the dew that is on the grass right now and it being maybe a little wet, how is it fair for guys that have to do it in the morning compared to guys that maybe don't tee off till later on in the afternoon? How do they decide who goes in the morning, who doesn't, when the tournament initially starts, where it's a fair playing field for everybody? And is it that big of a difference between going in the morning and going in the afternoon?
I tell you what, that's a great question. So the way it works is it's the luck of the draw. Like one morning you may tee off in the morning on Thursday, and then on Friday you tee off in the evening. So the next week you may tee off in the evening first, and then you tee off in the morning second. So it's the luck of the draw. So
gotcha.
Sometimes you may tee off in the morning and it's pouring down raining, and when the afternoon guys get ready to play, it's sun shining. So it's the luck of the draw, really. But it does make a difference in where, the draw that you get, for sure. Like one year we played in Cardianga, and if you played after 12 o'clock, you had no chance. The wind was like 40 miles an hour. You had no chance.
What city was that?
In Cardianga, Colombia.
Okay, because that was something that I wasn't familiar. Let me ask you this, Cedric. With regards to the golfing and the pairing, it's not based on ranking and how you rank as far as a golfer as to what your preference of when you get a tee time.
Well, if your ranking determines, like, you may be some of the first groups out, okay, or like right in the middle. But the way they do it is the guys on the lower end of the pole, they usually tee off toward the end of the wave.
Okay.
So if we have a morning wave, they'll tee off like 9 o'clock, 9:10, 9:20, 9:30. The higher ranked guys, they tee off at 7 o'clock, 7:15, 7:20. And then in the evening, the higher ranked guys will tee off at 12, and the lower ranked guys will tee off at 2:45.
So when you talk about these guys in their rankings with regards to having an opportunity to tee off, how many guys are in each one of these events? I mean, again, you got the event there now. How many golfers will be there versus some of the U.S. Open or the Masters or some of the other events?
Okay, this week we'll have 156 players.
Yes.
Reason being is daylight saving time.
Okay.
When the sun gets short, it's 144 players out here on the Corn Ferry Tour. On the PGA Tour, it varies because we have what we call the signature events.
Yes.
And in those events, it's 72 players. A regular PGA tournament, it's 144 players with daylight. Without daylight, it goes to either 120 or 132.
What are some of the signature tournaments or some of the signature events that you were talking about?
The Travelers, which they're having this week in Connecticut. The Arnold Palmer, the Players, the Memorial in Ohio. Those are the signature events.
Cedric, I do got to ask a question in talking about, you made mention Arnold Palmer. Jack Nicklaus normally hosts an event, not a PGA event, but hosted a tournament. And some guys back out last minute. I know Rory McIlroy did that. How upsetting is it for guys that host their own tournament for these major guys to back out? Why is it so important that they play in it? Is it for the fundraising part of it? And like the Arnold Palmer or Jack Nicklaus's tournament, do those count towards like the overall PGA standings and stuff?
Oh, yes, they do count towards the PGA standings. So the thing is with the signature events out here on the PGA Tour, you don't keep status about money. You keep status about points.
Gotcha.
So the signature events, the first place points is 700 points. In a regular tournament, it's 500 points. In a off-site opposite field event, it's 300 points to win. So the signature events are very important. And the guys that play in the signature events, when they play well, it's almost impossible for those guys not to keep their card the next year for full exemption. The other part of your question is, it is disappointing when the top guys don't play. It's just like if you decided, hey, I wanted to go see LeBron James play.
Right.
You paid $125. Then you get to the stadium and you see him over there in street clothes.
Yeah.
So the top players in all sports, I mean, they're the drawing card. That's why people go to the events.
If you're just joining us, Cedric Lamar, who is a PGA Tour golf caddy, is our guest this morning, as he is a contributor on a regular basis. And said I was able to drop the information yesterday that you were going to be in town on behalf of the SportsVisions summer speaking tours. And, of course, we're going to have an opportunity to speak to some youth groups here in the community.
For sure.
And we're looking at August the 8th through the 10th that you will actually be here. But we already spoke with the Girls Inc. Yesterday. We had the CEO on, Danita Gibson-Lloyd, and I let her know that we will be a part of it. I later talked to their sports director, Mike Woods, and they're excited. They're elated that you're going to be in. But we're going to speak to a number of kids and a number of groups and just going to take advantage of that. And why is it so important for you to share with the kids and to pour back into them, especially being on the PGA Tour when you don't have to?
Well, DJ, it's about the kids being knowledgeable of different careers.
Right.
I mean, if you're not in something, then you have no idea what it encompasses. So
Right.
I had a friend in college one time, and he got a job with Merrill Lynch, so he was going to be a stockbroker.
Okay.
And then when he got there, he thought it was a stockbroker was like the only job, but it was like 15 to 20 more other jobs that were associated with being a stockbroker.
Okay.
He didn't know because of lack of exposure and lack of knowledge.
Okay.
So when I talk to the kids, sure, I'm going to have some kids in there that want to play golf, but if you can't be a golfer, maybe you can be a rules official.
Okay.
Maybe you can be a shot link person. Maybe you can go to school and be a superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids don't know if you're a superintendent at some of these prestigious clubs or even
Right.
some well-off clubs,
Uh-huh.
man, you can make some serious money.
Okay.
$300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so you don't have to hit a golf ball to make a lot of money. So it's the opportunity of letting them know it's other careers, and then letting them know also that being on that golf course, it's a network. It's one of the greatest networks that we have in sports, because at 50 years old, everybody can't play basketball at the same time on the court.
Right.
Some can't walk, some can't run at that age.
Yes.
But everybody can jump on a golf cart. Everybody can jump on a golf cart. So it's the ability to get out, meet different people in different avenues of professions, and get to know them on a first name basis. I was telling my nephew the other day, he played in a golf tournament. He had never played golf, and he called me up and he said, "Uncle," he said, "they want me to play in a scramble, but I've never played golf." I said, "Well, go to the scramble and play anyway." He said, "Well, I can't hit." I said, "Well, putt."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He said, "But what about chipping?" I said, if you chip it and miss it, guess what? You'd be surprised how many people out there gonna chip and miss.
Right.
You're gonna be surprised how many people are gonna swing at it and miss. But you get to meet people that you've never met before, and you never know where it's gonna lead you down the road.
Absolutely correct.
And I always tell the young kids, if you're in a workplace environment, if I walk up to you, DJ, and we don't have a relationship, I'm gonna call you Mr. Jones.
Right.
But if I play golf with you on an occasional basis, I'm going to call you DJ.
I got you.
So when I call you DJ, we have a more personal relationship than if I called you Mr. Jones.
Correct.
And that goes a long ways in the business world, and that goes a long ways in just life in general.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Absolutely. Cedric Lamar, of course, is our guest this morning on the SportsVisions morning show, and he is in Wichita, Kansas, working one of his PGA events. And I know that, said when you talk about, I know when we were talking the other day, you had to call me back because you were out with some kids at that point in time. But again, my question to you is that, why, you out in the middle of, you were doing your thing, but you you found time to spend with some kids when you could have been up in the clubhouse having some cocktails, or you could have been with your golfer. But you were out with some kids, again, sharing the game with them.
Well, DJ, the kids are our future, whether they play golf or whether they don't play golf. But I like hanging out with the kids, because when I was a kid, the reason that I'm here right now is because a lot of grown men decided that my life was important to them.
Nice.
That my life was important to them. My father I had a great father, a great father. And he was a great man. But once I got to the golf course, DJ.
Right.
I had 50 other fathers.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly.
I had 50 other fathers. And that's important.
Yeah, yes.
It helps you stay on course. And one thing about, especially men, when we're growing up, we have all kind of obstacles. We have all kind of different decisions. We have peer pressure. We have a lot of different things. But it's always good to know as a kid that you have somebody that you can talk to.
Absolutely. And with that said, Cedric, with regards to women playing golf, girls playing golf, I mean, obviously, we're going to be talking to girls and boys, young people in general, because again, this game now it's universal. It's universal.
Oh, universal for sure.
It's co-ed. So definitely, we look forward to doing this. So again, what you got on slate for the next couple of events that you got?
So this week I'm in Wichita, And I'll leave on Sunday. I'll be in Detroit. So I'll be in Detroit next week. The following week, we play in the John Deere Classic in Moline, Illinois. And we'll leave there and head to Kentucky and play. And then we'll go from there to Nevada. So I'm going to be out here probably, I got about a 7-week run, DJ.
I said that was my last question, but I want to make my listeners, or at least the SportsVisions Nation, aware of your travel to PGA events over in Africa and abroad and in Europe. How does that coordinate with your domestic schedule?
Well, we have a schedule. So if you're on the PGA Tour and you're caddying for a guy on the PGA Tour, you kind of know exactly where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
So that's easy. But if you like going from the PGA Tour to the European Tour back to the PGA Tour, then it can get pretty dicey. So you have to stay up on it. You really have to stay up on it, because you don't want to tell one player, I'm going to work with you next week, and he says, oh man, I'm going to Italy that week. So we have to keep schedules too, because our commitments and what we tell the players is very important. We don't want to back out at the last minute. So we have to stay focused on our schedules also.
Good deal. Hey, man, thank you as always. We appreciate you, and have a great rest of your day, buddy.
You all have a great day too, DJ, and I'm excited about talking with the kids, man. We're going to have some fun, man. We're going to have some fun with those kids.
Absolutely. Hey, man, thank you so much. And again, you take care.
Thanks, Cedric.
Okay, you all too. Have a good day.
Okay. All right, man. I tell you what, a treat to have a contributor, a PGA contributor, as well as a guy that's going to come into the community and, of course, expose these kids to a life that they would only imagine, you know?
Exactly right. And love every second of it. Thank you, Cedric.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2, SportsVisions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
I'm trying to ride. I'm trying to float. I'm trying to glide.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the SportsVisions Morning Show. SportsVisions 92.1.
Hey there, fellow travelers. It's me, the Hotel Whiz. Before you go anywhere, call me day or night for hotel rates too low to publish. I'll save you up to 75% on over 500,000 hotels across the globe. You see, I've already done the research, so you don't have to spend time online trying to find the best deal. That's up to 75% off. Just call me, the Hotel Whiz. It's a free call, and you get instant access to rates too low to publish with no cancellation fees.
Make a free call now and save up to 75% off your hotel rooms the next time you're going somewhere for business or pleasure. Call the Hotel Whiz now and get instant access to rates too low to publish.
800-710-3739. 800-710-3739. 800-710-3739. Call the Hotel Whiz right now at 800-710-3739.
Georgia, attorney 770 Good Law Car Accident Lawyers. Paid after dramatization. Top dog does not mean we are the best. No guarantees of success.
You wake your wife up, just had a crazy dream. You're trying to tell her about it. She had sleep. You're telling her you gotta get up. You gotta listen to this dream. This may be a sign. I was driving in the dream and a car came out of nowhere, hit me head-on collision. Guy got out of his car, I got out of my car. All of a sudden, dogs run up to him, start biting him. You wouldn't let go. Person screaming, saying, let me go. Top dog, please, let me go. Not gonna believe this. It was Top Dog. Seen him in the flesh. It was Top Dog. God was offering money and everything, saying whatever you want, please, just let me go. Every time he said a number, Top Dog bit him again, until he heard the number that he wanted, and then he let him go. It was Top Dog. Any accident, Top Dog Law.
Glory's Furniture Express, your expressway to save.
It's summertime, and that means it's time for cookouts and company relaxing outside. So that means it's time for you to pay a visit to Gory's luxurious outdoor patio. Shop their beautiful outdoor furniture that's made to last season after season. Sofas, love seats, and even outdoor recliners. And that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code AIRPORT25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code AIRPORT25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code AIRPORT25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Ugh, kitchen ants, runaway roaches, a spider. Relax, just use Zevo. Zevo insect killer sprays use a powerful blend of mint and rosemary to eliminate those pests and up to 20 other bug types. Plus, Zevo is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Just spray the bugs and wipe them away. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly.
You're listening to the SportsVisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Now back to DJ and Thrift on SportsVisions 92.1.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. DJ Jones Thrift Barringer. Good Wednesday morning. I hope that your day is all of that and a bag of chips. We're certainly excited here to be able to educate, inform, and of course, entertain you on the goings-on in the world of sports. Big shout-out to Cedric Lamar. He's out there on the PGA Tour. He's a caddy, man. He's living a life. We talk about these baseball players and professional athletes, but a tour caddy, getting able to travel all over the country, all over the world.
Wow.
And, of course, follow some of the best golfers, assist some of the best golfers. And, the thing about it is that, you would think that a caddy, a professional PGA Tour caddy would be playing a lot. Cedric doesn't play any golf anymore. He says, but his the intricacies or the entities of which you are assisting your professional golf pro, or at least you're a professional golfer, is a lot different. You're helping with them with club selection and of course distance, and they have the weather, the wind. There's a lot of things involved with that goes into the decision making before the guy even gets a club in his hands as far as the golfers are concerned. So that's a very, very interesting lifestyle. It's a very rewarding lifestyle, but having an opportunity to be one of the few in the world. Now, again, we know it's tens of thousands of professional athletes, but there's such a limited number of professional PGA Tour golfers. And when you talk about, like you just said, on the big events, 140, no more than 150 golfers. And, when you think about in the world, how many guys that consider themselves or qualified to be PGA Tour golfers, man, that number is really, really small.
Yeah, it is, man. And that's why when you have someone like Cedric Lamar that talks about what it takes to get to that level, how hard it is, but he also is enlightening people that you can be involved with it and not be the greatest golfer in the world. So I'm glad we were able to talk with Cedric, and you can go back and listen to that on Apple and Spotify and also Facebook and YouTube.
I do want to say this as well. I may mention that we're going to be, of course, when he comes in town in August, we're going to be talking to some of the young kids groups. But I'm going to, as I throw the number out there, 324-1420, you know what? Let me know if you have some kids so that we can make consideration for obviously getting to you. I know that we are going to be, we have a couple of days that we're going to be talking and sharing, the fact that that Cedric is going to be here and his experience, and he wants to expose you guys to what he does. But again, if you have some young people, some kids out there, again, I go from high school age all the way down to the elementary schools. those are the people, those are the kids that we will be spending a lot of time with, because those are the ones who probably will have an opportunity to capitalize on his suggestions and on his recommendations.
Never too early to start teaching people the game of golf, DJ. And I think that's awesome that he'll be able to get in front of kids, and can't wait to hear about this and part of the Sports Vision speaking tour.
Hey, coming up in just a little bit, we're going to be talking to a living legend. Her name is Carolyn Wright, and she had been the Central Red Devils lady basketball coach for over 30 years. And also she has accomplished more than 600 victories to her resume or her bio or whatever you have it with regards to coaching girls basketball. And she has in multiple Hall of Fames, to include the Alabama Sports Association Hall of Fame. And again, just a tremendous lady, a person. She's the wife of another legend, Coach Bobby Wright. And of course, you know the greatness that Coach Bobby Wright had with the Central Red Devils men's basketball team. But both Hall of Famers. They're the only two. Couple as a married couple in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, and
wow,
we're going to be looking forward to talking to it. Quite an accomplishment, man. But again, Thrift, as we talk to Carolyn Wright, Coach Carolyn Wright, it's on us because again, as I said, out of all the young coaches and parents and athletes, student athletes that are listening out there, we got to ask some questions that we could get her to shake or release some of that knowledge that these folks can see. Okay, this is what helped her get from this point to that point, or this will help this athlete achieve these goals, or this parent to expose their kids to this particular camp. We can do that by asking them the questions to Coach Wright today.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm glad we're having her on. She did an amazing job over at Central. 600 victories is an incredible number of wins, DJ. That means it's not just coaching for a long time, it's winning for a long time that she was able to do.
Can you imagine how many kids or how many student athletes that she has had or seen go off to college, have seen to grow to become productive citizens, not just athletes, but have become, fathers and mothers. And of course, mothers more importantly, because she has been a girls basketball coach. But again, you need some of the, as assisting as an assistant athletic director, but the lives, both boys and girls, over those years has been tremendous. And just like I said, just looking forward to picking her brain and seeing how not only is she enjoying retirement, but again, trying to shake loose some of those nuggets so that we can share with our SportsVisions Nation.
I completely agree with that, and looking forward to having her on here in just a couple of minutes, DJ. Before you know it, we're already going to be at the 8 o'clock hour.
8 o'clock hour indeed. Hey, look, while we got a few minutes, let's go ahead and talk about those Braves, because I don't think we've congratulated them, because I know that they had come from behind. They got the best team in the National League East. They got the New York Mets in town at Truist Park. And again, with everything going on, and again, not in good favor with the Atlanta Braves. A lot of people are, definitely down right now, but they kicked off the series, or at least with a victory. And again, it was not just a victory that came from behind. Of course, they had an opportunity. Ozuna had an opportunity to hit a 3-run double of course, in the 8th inning. And of course, Austin Riley had to walk off to win 5-4, beating the New York Mets. And again, they'll play tonight. And hopefully, as I said yesterday, actually, I said on Monday that, having the best team in town, what a better way to get everybody fired up by beating the New York Mets, and getting back on the winning trail and turning this thing around. So, Thrift, okay, that's something special.
It is. And they were able to do something that people have been doing to them, which is make a comeback in the late inning and a collapse for the Mets. Raisel Iglesias, who has been absolute trash in the bullpen, he picked up a win. He actually was good. So Mets fans had to deal a little bit with the Braves fans have been watching all season long. Did get the win. I wrote them off. I stopped watching. It was 4-1 in the 6th and 7th inning. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not watching this. And I wrote them off, said the season's over with too after that loss, because I just didn't think they were going to be able to come back. But maybe that win and coming back can be the catapult that allows this Braves team to maybe get back into the playoff race.
I think that time is now. And of course, they'll have an opportunity to play New York a couple of more times, and they win this series home. And then they're going to go on the road. They're going to go down to Miami for several games. And then they're going to go up to New York. And then that's when I think if they are able to be successful on those two road stands, man. We are going to be cooking with gas right before the All-Star break. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to the GOAT, the legend, Coach Carolyn Wright. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, SportsVisions 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is SportsVisions 92.1.
The Columbus Clinkstones kick off the second half with a 6-game homestand, June 24th through 29th, featuring exciting giveaways and theme nights. Highlights include Wet Nose Wednesday, presented by the law offices of Gary Bruce, Rowdy Towel Thirsty Thursday giveaway, courtesy of Rowdy Beach IPA, and it's Welcome to Summer Weekend, presented by Aflac, with Margaritaville-themed post-game fireworks on Friday and Clinkstones beach towels to the first 1,000 fans on Saturday. The week wraps up with post-game Kids Run the Bases on Sunday, thanks to Witt's Frozen Custard. Grab your tickets at clinkstones.com.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar Wednesday, July 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites at North Lake in Columbus at 5:30 p.m. Registration starts at 5 p.m. Stop smoking seminars at 8 p.m. with registration at 7:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Shop 4th of July savings at the Home Depot right now and get up to 40% off, plus up to an extra $600 off select appliances with free delivery, like Samsung. From all-in-one washer dryers to smart refrigerators, upgrade to tech you can trust with Samsung appliances. The Home Depot has what you need to simplify your routine. Don't miss 4th of July appliance savings at the Home Depot. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $396 or more. Offer valid June 18th through July 9th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left?
I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the SportsVisions Morning Show. SportsVisions 92.1. Catch the Paul Feinbaum Show, 3 to 7 on SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. Here's 3-time Georgia Bulldog SEC champion and 1980 national champion DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
I've been blind for a while now.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Cedric Lamar, our PGA Tour caddy, who's going to be coming into town on the week of August the 8th through the 10th. We're going to have some sessions with some kids. And again, to have an opportunity to sit down and talk to a professional caddy, a guy that travels on the PGA Tour. And again, to talk about the lifestyle, to talk about, the career on the PGA Tour is going to be outstanding.
Unbelievable, and cannot wait to be able to continue to have him on as a contributor here on the SportsVision Morning Show.
Also, big shout out to Mike Peacock. I tell you what, he is a broadcaster, sports information director extraordinaire. He's a guy that has done it. He's been a coach. He's been a player, been a coach. He's been, of course, an SID, and he is now a broadcaster with Georgia Alabama Sports Live. This guy is living a dream.
He is living the dream, and love that Mike Peacock is doing that show with Marty Durden. You know Marty and his higher standard of learning curriculum, and it's been an excellent show so far.
All right, without further ado, we've talked about her all morning long, and here she is. She's the living legend. She's a Hall of Famer. Coach Carolyn Wright, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, DJ Jones. I'm excellent. Thanks for asking.
Wonderful, beautiful backdrop there. I mean, this is, I guess, this is not your first rodeo. You've been doing quite a few of these interviews because you've already got the setup. You know what it looks like. You know what it's supposed to look like. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
It's good to be here, DJ, and thanks for the invite.
First, right out the bat, right? I'm not going to hold any punches. How have you been enjoying the retired life?
Well, you know what, DJ? People tried to get me to retire years before I did, and I could have, because I love what I did so much. But I love being retired as well now. You know, you get up when you want to, you lay down when you want to, you eat when you want to, you go where you want to. So I am just flat out excited.
I tell you what, and it's nothing like it. I mean, over 30 years, over 600 victories. And then you got the house where you share with your husband. He's a Hall of Famer as well. Over 40 years at both of you, between the two of you at Central, man. Obviously, you know, they're talking about, and again, maybe I need to start a petition. And, maybe they need to build a statues honoring you guys. You guys have put in that work over there, man.
Well, you know what? We don't regret not one moment of it, DJ. We came into a system that was one of the greatest, I think, in the state of Alabama. You know, great people, great leadership. And Bobby and I just tried to add to the magnitude of what they were doing at the time we came in.
I may mention that you had over 600 victories, and that is a milestone, 605, 606, or something around there. That's close enough. Over 600.
605, you're on.
Yeah, but again, 600 victories, 605 victories. That's a lot of doggone victories, man. I don't care whether it's professional, high school, college. That's a lot. And again, what do you attribute to having the longevity, to having the patience, to having the discipline to stay at it and win that many games?
Well, you know what, DJ? The first thing I can say, but God. God has been with me every step of my walk. When I finally realized, God was the propeller of my life, I just went from there. And then, ever since I started out in coaching, even in junior high school, the Lord has placed people in my life to help me and make me better. And I'm thankful for that. And then when I came to Phoenix City Central High School, I found there Wayne Traywood, who is one of the greatest of the great. And then I met the legend, Bobby Wright, who I became his wife, and that was astronomical in my work and their work ethics, and Coach Charles Fortune, all those great people. Surrounded by them, you could only go to the highest of highest. So I'm just thankful that I was placed in the right places all at the right time.
When did you know that coaching was something that you wanted that was going to be your calling? Was it early on after your playing days? When did you decide, you know what, I want to go out and start coaching and end up being a legend like you became?
You know what? That was a decision of necessity, actually. I was teaching in Millbrook, Alabama at Stanhope Elmore High School. And they asked me to coach there because I had the background in physical education and all that, but I was teaching specific learning disabilities. And I said, no, that's coaching is not for me. And then I got divorced and I needed a second job. So it was something that I was pushed into with the necessity of having to have a second job. And that's how I became a junior high coach at McIntyre Junior High School. And I just fell in love with it.
Coach Wright, I know that we know very well, it's well documented, and we've had you on a number of shows before. But for the benefit of the morning show nation and the SportsVisions nation out there that don't know you, let's go back in time. And we like to do this because nobody can talk about you better than you. And of course, We wanted to take us back down memory lane in your life as to where it all started, where you grew up, where you were born and raised, where you go to school and college and all that great stuff that led to this legendary status.
I'm glad you asked me that, DJ, because, I get so excited when I talk about my beginning. And my son brought it to my attention when he introduced me at my retirement. He told a story that I had told him early on when, he was young, and he hear my sisters and I talk about it. It was the three of us. My mom had left us with her grandfather, our great-grandfather, who we call Papa. And it was the summer right before I was getting ready to go to first grade. And Papa, he was probably it's probably late 70s. And we were, my oldest sister 10, turning 10 in August. My middle sister, she was turning 8 in August, and I was going to be 6. I was 5 at the time. And, he was going to send us to school out in the country on his farm. We didn't have any school clothes, no necessities, supplies for school. And my sister came up with a plan. She put our clothes on the side of the road, down the road from the farmhouse. And the next morning we got up, he gave us a quarter apiece, and we were to go to town and come back. Well, I didn't know at the time that we were going to be runaways. So they didn't tell me because they said I couldn't hold water. So we ran away from my great grandfather and walked about 10 miles downtown, met up with relatives and went on to my grandmother's house. And we stayed there. He came to look for us. And my grandmother was afraid of her father, so she would have us to hide. And from there, with my grandmother, we moved to the projects in Tuskegee, Alabama, Brown Street projects to be exact. We felt like, we had moved to heaven. Bathroom, running water, 5 bedrooms, and we didn't look at it as if it was the projects. We looked at it as if, we were living in royalty. So from there, I attended Alabama State University and became an athlete in volleyball there. I played. I was a cheerleader, and I did track. And people always ask me, well, what about basketball? Well, we didn't have a basketball team in my high school. And I would not dare try for the basketball team there because I couldn't play basketball at all. So then I was had to get the job at McIntyre Junior High School. And when they asked me to coach, my best friend, it was her husband that wanted me to come be the coach. And he asked her, can Carolyn coach? And she said, H, no.
You can say it, hell no, hell no.
Anyway, he called me anyway, and I went in for the interview. And I must have impressed him because he hired me on the spot. And I was very astronomical in my work ethics and all the wins that I had. It was surprising to me, that I could get the kids to buy into what I was selling, and they played everything so hard for me. And, then you had to coach everything in the junior high program, from basketball to volleyball to track to softball to bowling. I had all those things on my plate, but I excelled mostly in the basketball and volleyball. Then I got a call from Phoenix City Schools. Cordelia Moffitt had given Jack Russell my name and said that I might be a coach that would be able to fit into their program and do well. And Jack Russell called, and I talked with him. And I was really a little leery about moving from a junior high program to a major 6A basketball program. I had some doubts with myself. And so I talked to my ministers, and didn't have a husband at the time. I was, a single parent. And I just prayed about it. And I said, well, I'm going to go up to this interview because I got to get myself acclimated into interviewing and to get a job. Got there, did the interview, and they offered me the job on the spot. I'm like, what is this? It had to be divine intervention, because every time I talk to anybody about a coaching job, even with the little experience that I had, it always came through for me. So I'm just thankful that God led me into the jobs that I had and saw me through them.
Coach Wright, talk about your relationship with your players. Do you talk to any of your former players? Did they ever reach out? How important was that part of coaching for you, your relationship with all your players and still keeping up with them as they went on to have their lives, their families, and stuff like that?
You know, I'm so excited about that because my number has not changed. My cell phone number has not changed from the day I got it. Every last one of my girls, if they want to call me right now, they can call me. And they know that some of my girls' kids call me grandma and
Nice.
auntie. And,
Awesome.
we just still have a great relationship. At my retirement, Dr. Larry DeShera said it was like a big central family reunion. So we have a lot of love for Central High School and the Phoenix City community. They have a lot of love for us, and that will not change no matter what.
Carolyn Wright is our guest on this morning's SportsVisions morning show. And Coach Wright, when you talked about again the many years that you've put in, and of course the many years that your husband, Coach Bobby Wright, has put in at of course Central. Now again, how were you able to manage that domestically, going home? I mean, on the job, at school, we know as coaches, as educators, but coming to the house, I mean, do you have is it a lot of carryover? Do you bring a lot of that coaching baggage back home, and how did you guys manage to deal with it?
Of course we do, DJ. You know who I'm married to, the legendary Coach Bobby Wright. In football and basketball, he's an X and O man, a disciplinarian, and he tried to have the marriage in that same fashion. But me being the strong woman that I am, I could always curtail it. That's enough of that. We've had enough X's and O's. We've had enough talking about what this kid did and what that kid did, and having to fight him to let's just take a break and go on just a 2-day vacation.
Yeah.
So, we brought it home, and sometimes he had to realize he was the boss at work, and, I'm the boss at home. So we worked it out, and everything worked out fine for the both of us.
It has to be a tremendous feeling, and I know we kind of nipped it a little bit, talked about it a little earlier, but it's the fact of the matter is that out of those 600 victories in over 30 years, I don't know, 32, 33 years, 35 years of coaching and teaching, all the lives that you poured into, not just the girls that you coached, but the students that you taught. And to know that they have become successful citizens, successful fathers and mothers, and just more than just being great college and collegiate athletes and professional athletes, but just you had a hand on their lives, and that has to be special, a special feeling for you and him.
You know what, DJ? It is so touching. It's not a place that Bobby and I have been in that somebody does not say that they've heard of us or they know the work that we've done, and just the lives that the both of us have touched. We get so many accolades. I don't care if it's the yard man, the pool people who come out to clean the pool, people who come to put down the straw. It's just not a place that we go that somebody has not heard of the work that we have done, and we're thankful.
Coach Wright, now that you're able to see how the game of basketball is, you were able to be around it as it's changed. You like how it is with the three-point shooting and the players and the NIL? I mean, it's just players have more pressure on them now than ever, but they also have more resources than they've ever had. How's your view on the game now in today's world?
Well, I had the opportunity to speak for Select South at their banquet for the youth there. And I tried to enlighten them on the change of the game and what was going on with the NIL and, what was, they had to face a whole lot of things more so than what athletes in the past had to face. But I also let them know that they had a lot more resources than those kids had. So they had to be grounded and they had to realize that their fighting for a position was much more harder because of the transfer portal. So, you can't go in there mad with the coach or, you talk about being the coach having favorites. And I told them, well, we do have favorites. And those favorites can change at any moment, any day, any practice. You can be that favorite. So don't whine and cry about a coach's philosophy. You make that coach know that you believe in their philosophy and you're going to give them everything they got, because it's a hard world out there now for athletes.
Coach Wright, as what I call the king and queen of Central Red Devils athletics, you and your husband both. Obviously, there has been a major shift with regards to the principal stepping down, and a person that's very familiar to the folks in Columbus with regards to the 20 years that Christopher Lindsay has put in as George Washington Carver's principal. He's now going to be the new principal at Central High School. Again, you, with all the years, you guys got combined over 70 years together as with regards to being on that campus, in that school, being a major part of the fabric and culture of that institution. What were your thoughts when you heard that Chris Lindsay was getting the job?
My thought was how great that is. What a gift that they have inherited in Chris Lindsay. Chris Lindsay and my husband go way, way back. Actually, Bobby knew Chris when he was a little boy. Mm-hmm. And his father, was assistant superintendent in Muscogee County. So he knows that family very well. And all the times I had an opportunity to be in Chris's presence, it was always a professionalism that was beyond what is normal.
Yes.
And such a disciplinarian. And in dealing with him in athletics and bringing my teams over, it was always such a wonderful thing. And Chris, he has done so much for Carver High School in Muscogee County that anybody who would not know that he is the greatest asset to Phoenix City Schools at this time, it would be just, they got to get to know the man, because he is one of the best of the best.
What would you say to him coming in, knowing, obviously, again, as I mentioned, the culture, the people of Phoenix City? You guys have spent an incredible amount of time, giving and teaching and sharing. So what advice would you give to Chris going in as the leader of Central High School?
It's not much that you can tell Chris, but one thing I do know, Chris will be able to build the relationships that Phoenix City people are used to and they need, and he'll be able to sell to them the love that he has for the community and the kids. And that's what Phoenix City Schools is all about, building relationships and knowing that you really care for their kids and you'll go to bat for them, and when they are wrong, you'll hold them accountable, and that you're trying to make them the greatest of the great and the cream of the crop. Chris Lindsay holds all of those things, and he will be able to bring that to that community.
One thing is for sure, and we had Chris on the other day, and he was talking about the he had taken a tour. And again, I know even when you and Coach Wright, you hadn't been that too far removed, a lot of the facilities, a lot of the renovations had started, and you guys have been a part of a lot of the great things that were going on the campus. But here's Chris coming out of Muskogee County, going over to Central. And again, and I shared with him, I said, man, this is like, a kid at Christmas when you got so many resources, so many facilities, everything, and so many programs. And he went on to say, again, it was just, knowing obviously with the limited resources in Muskogee County and being able to run the gamut and to spend 20 years here, but to go over and see what potentially he has as resources. And it was unbelievable at the resources that the city of Phoenix City had, as well as the school district with regards to Central High School and being the leader there.
Well, I tell you this, DJ, Central High School has always been one of the top schools, even in the 91 when I came. I was just amazed to the things that they were doing as opposed to Montgomery County and Elmore County, where I was a teacher. That actually sold me too, because my son was just 5 years old, and being able to come to a system of that magnitude in such a small community, they were well beyond other schools even at that time. And the growth that Phoenix City schools have had within the last 30 years is just amazing. They've gone beyond what a lot of school systems have done in such a small town. I was talking to this lady back when smart boards just came about, and she was telling me about how her daughter had raised funds to get her own smart board. And I looked at her and I said, ma'am, every teacher in Phoenix City schools, they have a smart board.
Yes. So,
they have really poured into that school system, and they put out productive citizens, and they've had great leadership in Phoenix City schools. Sometimes they may have fallen a little short, but above all, they have had great people to lead that school system.
Coach Wright, before I let you go, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to those folks that, again, we made mention of the lives that you have touched, but some folks haven't seen you guys in a while, and of course in your retirement, but give you an opportunity to not only talk to the folks in the city, in the bi-city areas, but in the country, and then in the days of social media across the world, who've had an opportunity to experience you and Coach Wright at Central High School. But I want to give you the last few minutes to say whatever it is that you wanted to say to them, and I'll do so right now.
Thank you, DJ. What I like to say to you all is I am so thankful for the tenure I had at Central High School. My husband and I, we got a lot of pros and a few cons in our career. And whatever we faced it head on. Sometimes people get it wrong. But when people get it wrong, God gets it right.
Yes.
And he shows us who we are. And he has proven to us that our work did not go in vain.
Yes.
And we're so thankful for that. Bobby and I have had some major health issues, and he's pulled us through it, and he's kept us on top. I'm speaking on speaking engagements, and Bobby has been right by my side in the job when I went to Montgomery County Schools. And within one season, I changed the program just in one season. So it's nothing but God and the love that you all have shown us, and show us how appreciative you are of the work that we've done. Every time you see us, you greet us when we walk back into the schools. It's like, we haven't missed a beat, and we're very thankful. When I walk into Central High School and I see my picture right there on the wall, when we walk into the gym, I see the large picture of the greatest basketball team of girls in Phoenix City schools. The history says a lot. And when you've given all you have and you have no more to give, people show you how thankful they are. And we're just thankful to have served that community for those years. And thank you all for showing us how much you have appreciated what we've done in Phoenix City Schools.
Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate you stopping by here. And, of course, joining us on the SportsVisions Morning Show. I know I'll see you sooner than later, but you make sure that you tell Coach Bobby Wright that his frat brother DJ Jones says hello, and we love him and we're thinking about it. All right?
Will do, DJ, and thanks again for the invite.
All
Thank
right.
you again, Coach.
Thank you so much. That's Coach Carolyn Wright, the GOAT.
Wow, what an interview.
The legend. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. We'll be right back with more on the SportsVisions Morning Show.
At every kind of disco, from that night I kissed our love goodbye. Don't blame it on sunshine. Don't blame it on moonlight.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the SportsVisions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Catch me at 9 a.m. every weekday morning, right here on SportsVisions 92.1.
Good morning, I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. A former Uber driver from Opelika will spend 75 years behind bars after being convicted in a high-profile sexual assault trial. A Lee County jury found 46-year-old Theodore Halls Jr. guilty of attacking two passengers in separate incidents. His sentences will be served consecutively. Columbus police are asking for your help identifying two suspects connected to a stunt driving incident at St. Mary's Shopping Center. One man, 21-year-old Antoine Wyatt, was arrested, but two others fled the scene. Anyone with information about the incident is urged to call CPD at 706-225-3400. You can also remain anonymous. Senator John Ossoff is pushing to replace the aging Dexter Elementary School at Fort Benning. During a Senate hearing, he secured a key commitment from Army leadership to expedite construction for military families. Ossoff also previously secured $500,000 for planning and design as part of the National Defense Authorization Act. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Wednesday morning. I hope you have the umbrella today. We've got a chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon and early evening. Highs today reaching the low 90s. Tonight will drop down into the low 70s. And for your Thursday, watch out for showers and storms during the afternoon and evening, and still staying hot with highs in the low 90s. Don't forget, you can stay up to date with your latest forecast by visiting WRBL.com.
Everything is expensive right now. Gas, food, you name it. You're spending more, you are making the same or less money. So what do? You rack up credit card debt. That's what you do. It's not your fault. It's the economy. And guess what? If you rack up too much credit card debt like some of us, you can't pay your bills. Then the credit card companies, as nice as they are, start hounding you for money. Then you start your downward spiral. A smart thing for you to do is to call the Zero Debt. They can help you consolidate all your credit card bills into one affordable payment. Millions of people have done it. It works to make you debt-free. Make this free call right now. It costs you nothing to learn more.
800-628-5675. 800-628-5675. 800-628-5675. That's 800-628-5675.
Find all of your favorite Ford vehicles at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. SUVs to fit the whole family? Check. Performance muscle cars to hit the open road? Check. Tough trucks, compact crossovers, hybrids, and EVs of all shapes and sizes? Check, check, and check. With hundreds of new and used vehicles in stock, our team is dedicated to getting you behind the wheel of the Ford of your dreams. Whether you're leasing or purchasing your next Ford, visit us in person at our Columbus showroom, located at 1680 Whittlesey Road, for our signature personalized service. Or shop our extensive selection of vehicles online anytime at rivertownford.com. And remember, you'll never pay retail at Rivertown Ford.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and stop smoking now. Without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Hypnosis designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special only $49.99. Become a non-smoker. That's right. Seminar Wednesday, July 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites at Northlake in Columbus. Stop smoking seminars at 8 p.m. Weight loss seminars at 5:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Denver Broncos 1987 AFC champion DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Coach Carolyn Wright, man. That was an incredible interview. I appreciated that. And that's going to be a keeper because obviously we don't get to, share and talk as much as we used to. But again, the fact of the matter is that those coaches, Carolyn Wright and Bobby Wright, have done incredibly well, of course, in their tenure at Central as the coaches that they were. And again, in the classroom as well. But again, they're now enjoying together retirement. And again, you couldn't write a better script.
Yeah, you can't. And glad that we were able to have her home. That's one of the another best of interview right there we just did right here on Sports Vision Morning Show.
Absolutely. And again, when you think about it, again, I just can't. Over 600 victories as a coach. Thrift, you've been around, you've taught school, you've been around, and you coached, or at least you call games now. And I mean, for a coach you have to not only have the wisdom and understanding of the game, but you got to have the time. You got to put in the time to play those many games. I mean, 605 victories. Now, again, you add in maybe a couple of hundred losses, and that's over 800 games, almost 1,000 games. Man, just the staying power alone is so impressive.
Yeah, it is, man. It's stay there at one place and get respected, especially nowadays. You know how people are, they get impatient. I think it is really incredible what Carolyn and Bobby were able to do over at Central and leaving the legacy that now people like Virginia Williams, who's now the girls coach there, now we got Coach Rogers, but the previous coach, Coach Burkett, they could build off that momentum, and you see how successful they've been making the Final Four and state championship here in the last 3 or 4 years.
I tell you what, though, what I take of my takeaway is that they're just most proud of just, again, the lives that they've touched, seeing and knowing that they are, grandma and ma and auntie and uncle to a lot of the former students and the students' kids. It's just that's another takeaway that I could tell. She just lit up when she talked about that.
And she did, and she loved talking about hearing her former players and being called grandma and aunt and all the other things. DJ, I think that's really awesome.
Absolutely. Hey man, listen, we got a few minutes left in the show. Actually, another couple of segments, but gonna walk back down to memory lane with regards to these interviews today. Cedric, Lamar, the significance of it being that we talk to sports figures all the time, and we have obviously the traditional sports of football, basketball, baseball, soccer. When again, but to have a golf professional, a guy, not just a golf person, a golf professional, a guy that is at the highest level. This guy, if there's a such thing as an NBA or NFL or a major league baseball, this PGA Tour, that is the top of the chart with regards to golf. And to have a guy that at our disposal that is a contributor that comes on and to be able to share with us not only what goes on the tour, but all the behind the scene things from the scheduling to the rankings and to the personalities that they deal with. Again, we're blessed to have somebody like Cedric Lamar to be a part of our Sports Visions program.
Yeah, it is, man. And it's awesome that we can get a breakdown from the highest level in the game of golf. That is a tough game to talk about, sometimes tough game to cover. And we got someone that is actually a contributor and part of the PGA and understanding what it takes to play at the highest level.
With that said, Thrift, in addition that we got a guy that's not only a part of this radio show, but he's going to be able to come into our community as he will, and be able to be a part of the Sports Visions summer speaking tour and be able to go around and talk to these kids about opportunities that they might not necessarily know about.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another reason why this is so big, because who knows, most kids may know about golf, how they can play golf, how to get involved in golf, why golf is important. It could be another avenue to get a scholarship to make money. I think that's a reason why you go and talk to these kids. And I'm glad Cedric's motivated and passionate about it as well.
And what my takeaway was from him on that particular subject is that he not only made mention to just being a caddy and of course not having to be a golfer, but he mentioned, there's 14, 15 other opportunities that you can, other careers within the golf. He mentioned the superintendent of course, and that's, again, when you're talking about events and you're talking about golf clubs, he talked about making, as much as $500,000. And again, that knowledge alone, I had no idea. He educated me. I didn't understand again about, all the different categories that he named. And if you hear it on the playback, because I can't even remember the correct names and of what he was, but he named off 7 or 8 different categories of positions or careers that you could pursue on the golf circuit. That is, even beyond and more so than just being an actual professional golfer.
Exactly. That's what we keep preaching here about sports. There's so many other avenues to stay involved other than just playing the actual game.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Again, coming up in a few weeks, we're going to have a spectacle in Atlanta, Georgia. Not only will there be some Major League Baseball All-Star game, but there'll also be the SEC Media Days. So you're talking about a wang-dang doodle of a time in Atlanta. Thrift, you're going to have an opportunity to go up, boots on the ground, and experience SEC Media Days. We're going to get together today and, of course, meet and talk about how we're going to go capture that for our listening audience. But more importantly, Media Days will be, of course, that will be the July the 14th through the 17th in Atlanta. And the breakdown is something like this. It goes with, of course, on Monday of that week, LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt will kick it off on Monday, Thrift, and that's the day that everybody usually is trying to get in town so that they can get settled and positioned for SEC Media Days.
Exactly, and then you got the primetime teams that are coming up next, so it should be back where it belongs in Atlanta, and now with Texas and Oklahoma going to be joining too. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere, man.
On Tuesday, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas. Of course, Texas is picked to be the preseason #1 team in America, the national champion. That's what people are thinking. And, of course, Arch Manning is going to be getting a lot of ink. He's going to be getting a lot of attention. And I know that that will be a big day, that Monday, actually that Tuesday at Media Day.
And I know people are already coming out. You're hearing it. He's overrated. He's getting too much hype. What has he done? I can't wait just to see it on the field. But they are the prohibited favorite in that day #2. Wow, that's going to be a packed day on Tuesday for sure.
Absolutely. Get your popcorn ready because obviously between Auburn and Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, that's Tuesday, man.
Wow.
That's a highlight. I mean, it's almost like, and again, it's not going to happen, but it's almost like after that day, you can just go home.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. Like that, I know the only team we're missing locally is the Alabama team, but man, with Tennessee and Texas, Georgia and Auburn, I cannot wait for that day.
Absolutely. And I know that the big question in Athens is the quarterback. Who will be the quarterback? Carson Beck is a millionaire leading the Miami Hurricanes program. He's moved on, but there's questions there in Athens. However, we do have a young man that everybody's pretty high on. And when you're talking about, leadership and, again, being a guy that everybody loves, and his name escapes me right now. That just shows you how much faith I have in him. But go ahead, Thrift. The quarterback for University of Georgia now.
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton. The name is, again, it's just one of those situations, folks. And don't get me wrong, he's going to play himself into my heart. But I just, and we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind that we can't get that dynamic dual threat quarterback that's one of the nation's best coming out. And I know that. Everybody else can get them. I mean, everybody else, they always go somewhere else. When can we get one in Athens?
Yeah. So that's where getting an elite quarterback has been one of the big things for them, for there to be Jacob Easton, Justin Fields that have come through here. Obviously, you remember Jake Fromm. But I'll tell you, Gunnar put up some incredible stats when he was at Raven County in Georgia, up there near Helen and stuff. He and Blue Ridge Mountains, 55 touchdowns, 1 interception, over 1,000 yards rushing, over 15 rushing touchdowns. The guy was Michael Vick of Rabun County and Georgia High School. Does that translate to University of Georgia? I don't know, but people sleeping on his athleticism, they probably shouldn't. I think he's going to end up being a very formidable quarterback.
Now, I've had an opportunity to see him in a spring game. I've had an opportunity to see him in the Sugar Bowl. I've had an opportunity to see him several of the times, and I have not seen those flashes of brilliance that, again, those high school numbers, call out. I just haven't seen that. He's not a game changer. He's and again, I know that that's a limited opportunity, but when a guy got it, it doesn't take several games. It doesn't take several series. I mean, my eye test is seeing how you avoid pursuit, to seeing how you deliver the ball, seeing how the ball spins off your hands, seeing how you take command of the huddle, seeing how you people, your teammates respect you. And up to this point, there's still questions in my mind. However, you know what? The jury's still out.
Yeah, it is. And again, he played Notre Dame and he played in some spring games. He really has not. And then he played that SEC championship and helping lead Georgia over Texas in what was an upset. But you're right. We have not seen a full season of him. So let's give him some time and see if he's been able to work this all season to become that elite quarterback.
And, of course, after Monday and Tuesday, come Wednesday, that's when all you Alabama fans have an opportunity to do your thing as far as finding out all the insights and what Coach DeBoer has with regards to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Florida, Mississippi State, and Oklahoma will also share the podium with on Wednesday with Alabama. And then the last final day on Thursday at the College Football Hall of Fame, that's the site of the SEC Media Days. It will be on Thursday. Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, and Texas A&M will conclude the week.
Yeah, I'll be that's going to be the probably out of all 4 days, that's probably the it's going to have the least amount of media. Still going to be a ton of media there, but not like it will be on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, more specifically Tuesday and Wednesday with Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, LSU. That's the who's who of everybody coming out and seeing what's going on.
And only about 15 minutes up 75 north from downtown Atlanta, you're going to have the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. And again, the festivities that'll get all week, the home run contest and all the other celebrity events, and conclude with the All-Star Game. And again, Atlanta's going to be off the chain, man.
I'm going to call Greg Sankey and say, listen, we cover the sport. We give exposure. We shine a light on your athletes and your coaches. Only favor we ask, instead of hosting a little shindig, which they always do. In the last, I know you've done a lot more than me, DJ, but the last couple of times I've been able to go, they always have something for like a meet and greet.
Right.
Let's meet and greet over at Truist Park, and watch some All-Star games and have us a suite and hang out there. How about that, DJ?
You weren't supposed to let the cat out of the bag, man. Now, you told them that you were sworn to secrecy because they were going to look, that's what the SEC, that was Coach Greg and his staff was going to be the surprise for everybody, that they were going to have that media outing at the Major League Baseball All-Star Game.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope he doesn't change his mind. But
oh, my goodness.
In all seriousness, though, Atlanta is going to be an absolute crowded and crazy place to be at that week, July 14th through the 18th.
All right, Thrift, let's go ahead and take our final break of the day. You are watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2, SportsVisions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Minor League Baseball is back in Columbus. Catch Clingstone's baseball every night on Sports Visions 92.1. Your home for the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer, the Dan Patrick Show, The Herd with Colin Cowherd, and the Paul Finebaum Show.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar Wednesday, July 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites at North Lake in Columbus at 5:30 p.m. Registration starts at 5 p.m. Stop smoking seminars at 8 p.m. with registration at 7:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia. I got a tour of their headquarters. I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
It's summertime, and that means it's time for cookouts and company relaxing outside. So that means it's time for you to pay a visit to Corey's luxurious outdoor patio. Shop their beautiful outdoor furniture that's made to last season after season. Sofas, love seats, and even outdoor recliners. And that's only at Corey's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
Shop 4th of July savings at the Home Depot right now and get up to 40% off, plus up to an extra $600 off select appliances with free delivery, like Samsung. From all-in-one washer dryers to smart refrigerators, upgrade to tech you can trust with Samsung appliances. The Home Depot has what you need to simplify your routine. Don't miss 4th of July appliance savings at the Home Depot. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $396 or more. Offer valid June 18th through July 9th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left?
I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need hair volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, hair volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with hair volume.
Since taking hair volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using hair volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Covering local and national sports. This is the SportsVisions Morning Show on SportsVisions 92.1. Drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Green Bay Packers. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the final segment of the SportsVisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Man, what a day today. Boy, I tell you, special shout out to Coach Carolyn Wright, over 30 years of service in the business, 35 years to be exact when you want to just add them all up. And again, over 600 victories, 605 to be exact. Man, what a treat today for her to be able to come on and, of course, share all the great things that she and her husband, Coach Bobby Wright, are enjoying in retirement, but also to reflect back on those wonderful days as a coach and, again, all those lives that they touched.
What an unbelievable interview and what a job by Coach Wright, both her and Bobby at Central.
Also, big shout out to Cedric Lamar, our PGA Tour contributor. And, of course, he's in Wichita, Kansas. He was boots on the ground getting ready for a tournament out there. And, of course, Cedric, we're excited that he will be coming to town in August, and we will be sharing his life and career with a lot of the young people here on behalf of our SportsVisions speaking tour. We'll be making a couple of stops in and around the community here in August, in August, and that'll be on August, I believe that's the 8th through the 10th that he's scheduled to be in town. And, of course, if you have, of course, some kids that you want us to consider being able to speak to, you can call me at 706-681-1136, and we'll see if we can work that out. Also, had a treat today. Well, of course, having a long-time Columbus sports contributor, Mike Peacock, who has had an opportunity to come out of retirement, as if so to speak, because he's been a major player in the broadcasting team of the Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. And again, Thrift, that's a great catch. I mean, with all the knowledge and wisdom, I learned some things even today. I've been knowing Mike for a long, long time. I've been knowing him back to his when he first got in town, but he was able to enlighten us on some things and was able to give us some nuggets as well as a former SID himself, why everybody's so buttoned up, so tense and so tight. But again, just great to have him on to share all of that knowledge and to talk about the great things that he's doing today, not only with Georgia-Alabama Sports Live, but of course with the podcast and all the things that he's doing in the community.
Exactly. And glad that Mike can be a part of the team, and he is a integral part and does a great show with Marty Durden called Step Up every Sunday night, Georgia-Alabama Sports Live at 7 p.m.
No, I know that my man David Spitzmiller was listening out there. Again, he has between the three of us when we were on anyway. He's touched our lives in a positive way. I certainly give him a lot of credit for being on the scene, and of course, with us here with SportsVisions and what we've been doing in the community the last several years. And Thrift, obviously, a lot of credit goes. You said you were coming, doing shows or streaming off of your phones, and that's when he was able to step it up and help you to bring some sponsors and other things that made it necessary for you to become and on your way to continue the great things that you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate David, support me from the very beginning and still supporting me now over and does a great job with Columbus State, advocate of them, big part of FCA too. David's just a great pillar in the community, longtime coach and defensive coordinator over at Calvary and Brookstone, and really enjoyed David.
Thrift, I'm looking forward to it. In just a little bit, we're going to have an opportunity to pack it all up and head down for a little breakfast, a little powwow, a little meeting about some upcoming events that we're going to be having with SportsVisions on the road. And then all of a sudden, after we get through with that meeting, we're going to hightail it over to the ballpark, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to shoot a show that you and I hadn't done in a little while. I don't know. Has it been 2 years?
Yeah, I think it's been about a year. Yep. Year or two. Yep.
Yes, definitely a year. But we'll sit down and kind of have a little shop. You know what I love about it, that the spin that has, because of who you've become in the over the past year and a half or so, I can counter with some questions to you as regards to you and I just not necessarily having a show, but we're talking about SportsVisions and, of course, Georgia-Alabama Sports Live from its infancy to today, and the things that we're doing and the things that we plan on in the future.
I love it, and I can't wait for it to drop to later on tonight. You'll be able to see it on both SportsVisions and Georgia-Alabama Sports Live, Facebook and YouTube, and it'll be coming up later on this evening. So can't wait for that to drop, DJ. It'll be a good little 30-minute, 45-minute way of kind of promoting and what we've been doing and what we got coming up here for both of them.
Absolutely, because obviously we get questions all the time.
What's
next? What's next? Well, SportsVisions on the road is next, but we're going to be going up to the SEC, of course, media days, as well as the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. We're going to be in the city, but whether we get access to the ballpark, of course, I know that Commissioner Sankey has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we'll definitely let you guys know how we're doing. Thrift, it's the last few minutes of the show. Obviously, we got to talk a bit about the NBA Finals, and I know we made reference to it a little bit earlier. But at this point in time, with OKC up 3-2, and of course the MVP for the Indiana Pacers is a little gimpy. What do you think will play out in this series?
I think after Thursday night, the Thunder are going to be NBA champions for the first time. And I know everybody's like, well, and not everybody, but some people say that because this is from the Seattle Sonics, Supersonics organization, the Seattle team won it in the 70s. This will be the organization's second. I do not agree with that. And the same thing I say with the Lakers. If you were in a previous city before you moved to the city you're at now, you should not claim those championships. It should stay within that city. Like Minneapolis with the Lakers won 5 before they moved to Los Angeles. Same thing with Seattle. So in my opinion, will be the Thunder's first, and I think they get it on Thursday. I'm more interested now about the offseason of the NBA in the next couple of weeks, with Durant maybe wanting to get traded. Then you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're going to have guys that are wanting to sign. Is John Morant going to be traded? It's about to be an interesting. And what are the Hawks about to do here as well?
Absolutely. Before we get out of here, but big shout out to Letitia Hill. Of course, good morning. How you doing? David Boyd, you're a guy listening from Ann Arbor, Michigan, man, all the way up there, running them Golden Domers, man. Again, we appreciate you. And Farrah Bowman, my guy down in Florida. How you doing, man? We appreciate you. Make sure you spread the word even where you are. Spread the app. Spread the social media page. Let everybody know the good news about the Sports Visions morning show right here in Columbus, Georgia. Sports Visions 92.1 FM.
Unbelievable.
Well, you hear the music, you know what that means. Another great show has come to an end. On behalf of Thrift Barringer, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
I need you in the morning, but I need you now. Yeah. I find you, I give you what you need. I know what you like.
You've been listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the
Do
Finley
you have a car
Firm.
sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here's a great idea. Donate your car and help veterans